Every year, after a cold and dreary winter, Metro Detroiters come together for two things: Tigers baseball and the best damned party in the world. A new season of Tigers baseball is here, and we're bringing in the new season as only Woodward Sports knows how. Broadcasting live from the biggest party, it's the Grand Slam Festival at the Detroit Opera House. Come party with 4,000 Detroit sports fans, starting with Wake Up Woodward and rolling into Big D Energy. This is a party you don't want to miss, with Detroit's best DJs, food trucks, and of course, shots. Get your tickets now at GrandSlamFest.com. 21 plus. See you April 5th at the Grand Slam Fest.
What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of Big D Energy. We're right here live from Feldman Chevrolet in Novi. They are Michigan's #1 Chevrolet dealer. Got some good deals for you. You guys know what it is. Come on out, get you a Blazer, Equinox. They're out here. Silverados, they're on the lot. It's going to be 70 degrees today.
Fun fact, we saw Rodrigo earlier today.
Hey, Rodrigo comes out. This is his place, man.
Yeah,
he rolls out here. He's a very satisfied Feldman Chevrolet customer. My name is Neal Ruhl. That guy over there, Sam Flannel, in the house. Flannel, what's up, man?
You know, if we're going to do shows at a recurring spot, it's nice that it's a spot that literally saved me from being vehicle-less for a longer period of time, because I came in here, and I'll say it again, just to prop up Feldman for those of you who haven't heard it before. My car broke down. My old car broke down when I was on the way to a Michigan-Ohio State basketball game last year, a game which Michigan won, which I did not see. But later on that week, I just thought I'd use my connections here, and I got a new car in about 3.5 hours on a pretty good deal. And I was a little upside down on my old loan, and I still got a good deal. So if that isn't the pull for Feldman Chevrolet, then I don't know what is. Even I got a good deal on a new car in 3.5 hours. You can't beat it.
No, absolutely. But we are happy to be out here. You know, of course, we got KG, JB Smoove here in the house as well. All of you in the WoodwardSports.com chat thread, subscribe to the Woodward Sports YouTube channel. Jump in there, get your thoughts out there. Freddie Felt 313, what up, though? El Presidente and friends, congrats to my alma mater, Oakland, for winning the Horizon League regular season title. Go Grizz. That is right. KG, you were in the house.
I was, man. Got to see a master at work. Neal in a sport coat, man. He was doing some work. But, yeah, shout out to them. Congrats, man. We got to meet Coach Campy after the game. He's a real cool guy. Got to meet Rocket Watts, too. So, yeah, man, it was just a real fun experience, man.
Yeah, no, Rocket's a guy certainly I'm very, very happy for. Oh, you guys got the graphic on there. That's pretty cool. No, but Rocket, everyone knows his story. Obviously, Michigan State fans, social media superstar coming to Michigan State. Did the business out there, all Big Ten freshman team, all of it. Transfer Mississippi State, had an injury, really set him back like a lot. And I'm really, really happy for Rocket. So, happy for those guys. But in the mid-major level, Sam Flannel, doesn't matter.
It's all about that conference tournament. I hope that you guys can get it done, because I would like to see you guys, and I saw you put it in the group chat, maybe be the team that can knock off a Purdue. Although you're not going to get a 16 seed if you make the if you win the conference tournament, you'll get a higher seed than that. But
136 I think in the net ranking or something like that. So we wouldn't be down there. But hey, Who knows? Who knows how it will all shake down? Pete Smith, we're 24 days away from real baseball. I'm almost ready to go back to my We Own the Central shirt. So remember that bit?
Yeah.
That was a great bit.
A long time ago.
Yeah, the rough weekend for the Red Wings. Certainly we will get into that as well. But I do have a question. I put the headset on here today, and of course Wake Up Woodward was out here. Very, very fine talk show here on Woodward Sports. And I was told this is Matt Broder's side that I'm sitting on.
It is.
Here. And I put the headset on, and this thing, came down to my neck when I put it on. Why is Matt Broder's head so big, bro?
I don't know, man. It is pretty massive, though. I got to admit, Broder, I love you, but you do have a very large head.
So does New Era make a fitted hat big enough for Broder, Flannel? Do you know?
You know what? A good question.
Is he at 8 1/4 or something like that?
Definitely.
The next time that I see him, which will be tomorrow, because he did play, he was a pitcher at Michigan, and they had to provide him with some hats. So I wonder if they had to do a special size and a fit for him, because he does have a big head, but that's all right. It just means he has a lot of knowledge and a big brain, and he is 6'5", so it kind of makes sense. It doesn't look disproportional.
Until you put this headset on and it comes down to your neck, because I'm not small.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
I'm 6'2". Like I'm not small, but I don't have that real life caricature head like Matt Broder has.
Oh man, poor was looking like a chain on you.
Yeah, he's like he's like one of those things that walks down the street at the parade in Mardi Gras, where it's like it's like that. Yeah, I mean, what? It's true.
Wait a minute, Broder. LOL, Big Dome, real talk. I was second in the Big Ten in head size in 2011. Scott Meitzes in the Minnesota closer had an 8 1/4, and I was a 7 3/4. Jesus, Scott.
He's 7 3/4.
Hey, that's smaller than I thought his head was.
Jesus, Scott Meitzes. How does he even fit in places with a head that big? But anywho, Broder, I'm wondering if you're trolling or not. But it actually sounds pretty believable. I mean, he said ha 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 ha. I hope that means that he's telling the truth. But it looked like a verifiable fact.
Never know with Broder.
Yeah, you never know.
This was one, too. Lorena Rios, Neal, 6'2", 330. There was a time I was that. Now that is accurate. There was a time. I think I was 209 this morning when I stepped on the scale.
Look at you.
Nice.
But yeah, WoodwardSports.com chat thread. I lost it. It just slid across here, so my apologies. I can't attribute it to the proper person. They're like, man, Florida Panthers, good AF. Yeah. They are, everybody.
Tried to
tell you guys that. Like, they were going up against it there, and the Panthers looked like they were like, hey, you guys are cute and everything like that.
Hold my beer.
But and look, we'll get into that because the classic triggers have been launched from Red Wings fans. I see it in here right now, and we gotta pull back a little bit, everybody. We'll get into that discussion, though. We certainly will. I want to get into the Caitlin Clark thing. You talked about it. Some very well-known WNBA players are piping up and chiming in. And I want to ask a basic question. And I shudder too. You guys know this. I'll do this from time to time where I say, look, I'm going to ask a question of the people to get their thoughts, and I don't really want their answer, but I'm going to get it. And you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, and we're going to do that a little bit later on in the show. Jacob Ohm says, come on, guys, one size fits all. Not for Matt Broder. Not for Matt Broder. And you said, Flannel, what size hat did you say he had?
He was a 7 3/4. And, oh, by the way, he clarified that he was being serious. 7 3/4.
And just to give you, like, a cross comparison, like 7 3/4. Like I know, like most people are in the eighths, right? Mm-hmm. Like 3/8, 1/8. That's like the common. Yeah. What size fit are you, KG?
I have to remember. I think I'm like a 7 1/4 around there.
7 1/4.
Yeah.
Okay. So like
that's with the hair included.
Yeah, like 2/8. Yeah. Right. Like for all. Let's go back to elementary school here in fraction conversion. Right. Fraction.
Never was good at fractions.
Yeah. But 2/8. I said 1/8, 2/8, 3/8. Like, just to give it some cross comparison, that Matt Broder's a 7 6/8. That's a big dome.
Yeah, and what would 2/8 would be 1/4. So 1/4 versus 3/4. Yeah.
I like this.
Yep.
Here we go. Lions fan. If Yzerman doesn't trade for a defenseman at the trade deadline, I'm going to be very underwhelmed with where we're going the rest of the season. Calm down, everybody. We're falling into it again. I thought we have experience with this with the Lions. I thought like we had this experience and now we're wiser. No?
I feel like we need to cool it on all the GMs in this town. Even Scott Harris. I know you big on we got to replace Miggy's money, but
that's different though.
I get it.
That's different.
I just think we need to relax a little bit. Just let's see how it plays out first.
Well, even with Scott Harris, you saw some good returns last season. They did win 78 games, and obviously with Steve Yzerman and particularly Brad Holmes, the results speak for themselves. Brad Holmes got him into the playoffs and the NFC Championship game in year 3, and it looks like Steve Yzerman will get him in year 5. So yes, I would agree with you. And what the Pistons are doing in their front office, though.
Oh well, yeah.
There will be.
I wouldn't even think about the Pistons.
There
when
will
I made
be
that comment.
There will be no talk about that.
Yeah.
Okay. Some people dropping their hat sizes in there. Steve DeYoung, I'm a 7 5/8. That was before getting a plate put into my now Chrome Dome. So he literally a Chrome Dome.
Hey, that's still smaller than Broder, though.
Yeah.
Art Vandelay, I heard 7 3/8 is the most common size. So we can agree though, 7 6/8.
Yeah,
is aggressive. It's really big.
Aggressive head.
Yes. Mason Leach, the Panthers exposed our team issues, and it's still our goalie situation and our defense, but we are still a good-ass team. And, again, out of the rip, we'll get into that. We'll do the Red Wing stuff. We'll kind of put that down, and we'll keep it pushing. But there is a lot of ancillary stuff. Stefan says no football. We talk it every day. We are. I got a lot of basic questions today that I'm going to get answers to.
All right.
The combine thing.
Oh, yeah. I know you don't put a lot of stock into it.
So apparently 16 wide receivers are getting – the first round is going to be all wide receivers and all quarterbacks. Right?
No. Some of the people that you hear hyped up are guys that maybe made their way into the second round or something like that. They're not all going in the first round. I think you're overreacting a little bit. Obviously, you're being sarcastic, but it's okay. It's the combine.
Right. It's a lot of fodder.
There is a lot, but I think there is some stuff that you can take away from it that is tangible, me personally at least.
DNC ENT Panthers puck line check. DNC ENT, you and I vibe a lot on our stuff out there. I kind of put it out to the people. You know, if the Wings had beaten the Islanders, I was going to make it an all-points bulletin where we had to go in. But I think, I'm not putting it on the record because I didn't go on the record with it. But I think it was a pretty advised move. So good for you, DNC ENT. Pete Smith, Neal, I'm 198.5 pounds, down 175 pounds from May 4th, 2018. So get it in there, man. It can be done. It's only hard. It's hard for about 3 weeks, and then it's just the way that life is. I've talked about that before.
Living proof.
On here. Yeah, absolutely. 70-degree day today, Sam Flannel.
Oh, yes. Whew. What a day. And, yes, if you want to maybe enjoy that nice weather with a little, go to Dispo, of course. Go to Dispo.
What was that saying?
I don't do it, but you guys might go to all the Dispo.
Wait, what did you tell the people to enjoy it with?
Maybe a little. Hey, that's probably the worst smoking form ever, but I don't smoke. I don't even smoke, as the great Kendrick Lamar said back in that song. But anywho, you guys go to any Dispo location. Dispo right now has its March Madness Bracket Challenge. You could win up to $1,000 in cash. Just register online, and you know what? Go to any Dispo location. We've done shows out at the Dispo Mall and Romeo, an absolutely immaculate place to go, and I don't even smoke, and I think it's amazing. We've done them at Hazel Park, and there's locations all over Metro Detroit. Dispo, your local cannabis plug.
Buying your first Feldman Chevrolet is much more than buying the car that will get you from point A to point B. It's a place for first memories, some big, some small. As she grows, you're not just buying her a Chevy, you're buying into a Feldman family. With more than 700,000 vehicles sold, from generation to generation, Feldman just keeps rolling.
Woodward Avenue, the first paved road in America. Woodward Sports, the first sports network born in Detroit and made for Detroit. Every year, after a cold and dreary winter, Metro Detroiters come together for two things: Tigers baseball and the best damned party in the world. A new season of Tigers baseball is here, and we're bringing in the new season as only Woodward Sports knows how. Broadcasting live from the biggest party. It's the Grand Slam Festival at the Detroit Opera House. Come party with 4,000 Detroit sports fans, starting with Wake Up Woodward and rolling into Big D Energy. This is a party you don't want to miss, with Detroit's best DJs, food trucks, and of course, shots. Get your tickets now at GrandSlamFest.com. 21 plus. See you April 5th at the Grand Slam Fest. We don't like to brag that we are the toughest sports network in Detroit, but we do have a guy named Darren McCarty on our side.
Lemieux and McCarty, who've had a good knockdown drag up. There they go, right on the whistle. They were talking to one another.
Woodward Sports.
Neal Ruhl here, and you can meet Big D Energy at the Michigan Green Industry Association event with Alta Equipment. That is tomorrow, Tuesday, March 5th, as a matter of fact. Just down the road from here, the Suburban Collection Showplace at 46100 Grand River Road. Stop by, talk Detroit sports with us. D-Mac will take a picture with you, whatever you want to do there as well. And the latest products, technology, and services from all the heavy industry exhibitors will be out there, including land and landscaping equipment, heavy-duty equipment, snow equipment, which hopefully you can get for next year, not any more for this year because it's going to be 70 degrees today. But all of it, irrigation, water features, lighting supplies, all of it, everything that goes on outside your home and much, much more. The Michigan Green Industry event with Alta Equipment and Big D Energy tomorrow, 11 to 1, just down the road from Suburban Collection Showplace. All right, we are off here on a Tuesday. We're live at Feldman Chevrolet in Novi, Michigan's #1 Chevrolet dealer. My son wants this Corvette behind us. My 15-year-old son, he wants that to be his first car. So, you know.
Well, get ready to pony up.
Yeah, absolutely. But for the rest of us, they are running a great deal. Silverados, the Blazers, the Equinox as well. I'm looking to make that move with the Equinox. We're going to the electric side, so we'll be getting that going when those come out. And, of course, when I do it, it'll be right here at Feldman Chevrolet with all my people out here. But I'm happy to have you all with us. Do want to get into the Red Wings discussion, but before we do that, let's kind of clean up that chat from the show open. Just a Fan says all pitchers have to have a big head. David Sparkman, Broder's head has its own gravitational pull. And for those of you just joining us, I put the headset on. This is the side that Broder sits on, and like the earphones were like down here. I was like, man, who sat here? And they're like, Broder. I'm like, dude, that guy's got the biggest head ever. And then we found out size 7 and 6/8 fitted hat. So
might as well be 8.
Basically an 8, everybody. So there is that out there as well. But no, I do want to talk Detroit Red Wings. They got cooked by the Florida Panthers. Flannel. They got absolutely cooked.
Hide the car flags.
No, like that. See, that's the thing. I did take it off on the way here though, because like driving on the expressway and stuff like that, it had it had the beginning stages of a car flag, like worn and stuff like that. But I'm not. I will put it back out there when I get back.
When is it going back up?
It's going back up today.
Okay.
As a matter of fact, it's going back up today. Is it time, Flannel? Just pack the car flags away, back up the trucks.
No, it's absolutely not time. And here's the thing, and I mentioned it on the last show, and I want to attempt to give some levity to this. And I'm not saying that there aren't some concerning things when it comes to the Detroit Red Wings. I've said it before. I don't think they have a Stanley Cup level defense, and I don't think they have Stanley Cup level goaltending, but that's okay for this year because Stanley Cup really isn't the goal. And I think when they went up, obviously you'd want to win it, but for this season it was playoffs or bust, not you got to win the Stanley Cup or, there's some questions about Steve Yzerman. That's not where it is at this point. And really what the Red Wings have done, and I'll mention again, since December 31st, they went on that 10-2-2 stretch, which put them right back into the playoff race. They had a 4-game road trip in which they got 4 points. And in this latest stretch of 5 out of 6 at home, their one road game being at Chicago, they got 8 points. They got 4 wins, their last 2 losses. So they're pretty much right on serve at this point. It's just right now, there's no worries. It's just how do they respond? They have a 4-game road trip coming up, a game at Arizona and at Buffalo included in that. Those are 2 very winnable games. You get 4 points out of that, and then you have a stretch of 4 out of 5 at home, including a game against Arizona, a game against Buffalo, a game against Columbus, a road game at Pittsburgh, and then a game against the Islanders. If you can get 8 points out of that, followed by 4 points on a 4-game road trip, you're back to sitting pretty again. I'm not saying that. Like I said, these last couple of games, they were disappointing. I mean, you saw one of the biggest differences were the Islanders and the Florida Panthers were a combined 3 of 8 on power play, and the Red Wings were 0 of 7.
And Flannel, that's it.
Yeah,
like for the whole crowd. And I read one of the messages before, and I knew that everybody was going to do this. Where like, I demand action on trade deadline day. Like again. What evidence do you have to suggest that Steve Yzerman is just going to be like, well, I got to go get somebody for the sake of getting somebody? That's wrap your head around this, guys. That's not how good teams operate. Instead, what resume do you have to suggest that Steve Yzerman is going to get all emotional and make a bad move or make a move just for the sake of making a move? It's not how he rolls. No, it's not how he operates.
There's certainly no evidence of that. And as I said before, and that's why I tried to bring it up with, they're still right on serve when it comes to this second half surge of playing good hockey. They're still in the playoff. They're still sitting pretty when it comes to the wild card spot. I mean, they're hopes of catching Toronto may have taken a little bit of hit. But again, like I said, that is okay. They still are in great position to make the playoffs. They still have what I believe to be a Stanley Cup level offense, really spearheaded by the Alex DeBrincat trade, the Patrick Kane move midseason, the Daniel Sprong, and then even JT Compher. And of course, he drafted Lucas Raymond and he re-signed Dylan Larkin. So that is all well and good. It's just defensively, they're not really up to par when it comes to winning Stanley Cups, but they can still make the playoffs, which would be a hell of an accomplishment considering where they were when he started, where they were at the end of Ken Howland. This would be a 100% win for them to just make it. And oh, by the way, and we mention this all the time, the Grand Rapids Griffins are pretty loaded at the defenseman position, highlighted by Simon Edvinsson.
And Flannel, that's it right there.
Yeah.
Like, it's all out there in front of you.
Yes.
For everybody, for all the Wings people, it's out there in front of you. Like, this isn't how this works. You don't go on a 7-game winning streak or a 6-game winning streak, and then, boom, you're the favorite to win the Stanley Cup in a world where the Florida Panthers exist.
Yeah.
In a world where the New York Rangers exist, et cetera, et cetera. That's not the way that this works. Like, I know that everybody runs hot, and I gather that. But let's just tune it down a little bit, all right? And guess what, guys? We went over this last week, but let me reiterate it one more time. The enforcer that everybody gets physical with us. You know how during the win streak, you know how the Red Wings dealt with that? You score on the power play. You score on the power play, that takes care of itself. And look, no one. I brought Alex DeBrincat here, contrary to popular opinion. Ha ha ha! I'm joking. I just last week, when we did social media reels, 100,000 view hockey social media reels, where I was on there and said the biggest reason for this change was Alex DeBrincat, was Patrick Kane, was Dylan Larkin, was the play on the power play, which, oh, by the way, became a top 8 unit in the NHL. In one offseason, became a top 8 unit in the NHL. What was that stat you gave, Flannel, about the last 2 games?
The last 2 games, their opponents were 3 of 8. The Red Wings were 0 of 7.
So there you have it.
Yep.
There you absolutely have it. And look, both things can be true. I celebrate DeBrincat and Kane, and I do believe that DeBrincat unlocked Larkin. That is true. Mm-hmm. But the power play wasn't good enough. No. It just wasn't good enough. And when you play these teams and you get those opportunities, that's a non-negotiable. If you want to swim in those waters, you have to score goals. Have to. Period. End of story.
You got to score goals. And I think the evidence to prove that they will again is that over the course of the entire season, mostly spearheaded by some of the moves, is that the Red Wings have had an elite offense all season. They have had a very good power play all season long. And even in the game against the New York Islanders, they did score 3. Usually that's enough to get you a point. And Ole Mata scored 2 of the goals, which is not sustainable. But the reality is that the first line hasn't been good enough the last couple of games. The power play hasn't been good enough. The PK hasn't been good enough. But those are all things that we've seen over the course of a long season. The Red Wings really make an improvement over last year because that's why they're good. The reason the Red Wings are good is because of their goal scoring. Their defense is relatively similar to what it was last year, which isn't a red flag or anything like that, but it's because of the offense. But the last couple of games, they just didn't find it. And oh, by the way, a lot of teams get clapped by the Florida Panthers. And I'm not just saying like, who cares? I'm just saying that it's reality. The Florida Panthers, you might be seeing them hoisting the Stanley Cup at the end of the year.
Paul Thomas, one thing not discussed much, Paul Maurice is a top-notch coach. He's an OG like T-Foss. He's the coach of the Florida Panthers. No, and they went out, and they got Kachuk, and they're doing what they're doing and stuff like that. And you know what's funny about it is you would say on paper, because since we're cross-comparing and looking at it, and you see, like, they have a 35-year-old goalie that's a $10 million cap hit.
Yeah.
On the surface, you'd be like, good luck.
Yeah.
But here they are.
Yep, here they are. That's those are the things that having Reichart and Kachuk can make up for. And boy, have they.
And Catspot says this. The Red Wings got put in their place by Florida. They need a much better defense and goaltender. And I think everybody would agree. Everybody would agree. Like, from a goaltending and defensive perspective. But don't act like you can make one move at the trade deadline and magically that solves itself and then you become a Stanley Cup contender. Because I would contend that the grand plan of all this, and it amazes me how much Lions vibes there is to the Red Wings right now. It amazes me how similar it is, just from the feel of the organization. because with the Red Wings right now, I believe that their defensive core, that 3 years from now, that they believe is filled with homegrown prospects that they have in the system right now, that you just have to allow the time to happen. You do, for real.
Sure, and Danny G, he said it a while ago. I lost it. But he said that he was at Grand Rapids Griffins game this weekend and that they are loaded. And they most certainly are, and that bodes very, very well for the Red Wings' future. And I'd like to think that next season Edvinsson will be with the club from day one. We like Mo Sider. We like Jake Wallman. I mean, there's some – Ben Sherratt is who he is. I mean, there's a couple of depth pieces that, like Petrie and Oli Mata that might not be on this team when they're ready to win, and Ghost is more of an offensive defenseman. But I think their defense will be fine in time. They're set up well to be good in the future. And like we said before, this wasn't the year where it was Stanley Cup or bust. That will come down the road. But this year, as long as they make the playoffs, it is a wildly successful season, even if they don't win a game, even if they don't win a round. This year, though.
Kevin Bell says, I think the Red Wings will get past the first round in the playoffs. But, guys, again, we need a little reality check with that, too. I think people were really getting out in front of their skis. You guys do realize, as it sits, realistically, what's the best the Wings could do? A 6 seed?
Yeah.
Realistically?
Yeah.
So you're pretty much – you're guaranteeing yourself, just in terms of who you would play, you're pretty much guaranteeing yourself, I don't know, a Florida, a New York Rangers, teams that are primed and ready, or the Boston Bruins.
Sure, and
that's what you're looking at.
Oh yeah, and we would be massive underdogs in any of those series, and that's why. And I'm gonna kind of reference Wake Up Woodward while I'm on the show. Shout out KG, by the way, and JB. But we were talking last Thursday about the Red Wings. This was before the Islanders game, and Kool-Aid had mentioned how, because on the previous shows I was getting pretty damn excited. And he kind of
we all were.
Well, yeah, of course. But he had mentioned,
again, if you're starving and someone gives you a cracker, it's the best cracker you've ever eaten in your life.
But up to that point, it was more than just a cracker. What would that have been? 18-4-2 or something like that. A stretch of just a ton of winning.
It's a buffet.
Yeah, an absolute buffet. But I never said that expectations had changed. What had changed for me was what I thought maybe they could be capable of, and that's where I had to correct some of the people. I never said expectations changed.
Flannel, oftentimes you say a lot of stuff I don't like, but I really like what you just said right there. Not expectations don't change. Capabilities change. That's good stuff, man.
Well, and that's kind of what, if you're comparing it to the Lions, they could have made the Super Bowl last year, but as long as they got that first playoff win and that division win, it was a successful season no matter what, even if they would have lost to the Buccaneers, which would have been disappointing, but it was about get a division win and a playoff win. With the Detroit Red Wings, it's about make the playoffs, and then whatever happens in the playoffs happens. But when they had such a great stretch, just like with what the Lions did in the playoffs, what you think is possible changes. But that doesn't mean if they don't get to it, you're just disappointing season. That's the good news, though. As long as the Red Wings can hang on, we're looking at this as, wow, they made the playoffs after the calendar month of 2023, there being all kinds of questions. That would be a hell of an accomplishment.
And the chat's full of really, really good stuff. You guys are on your game today.
Yeah.
I'll give you guys that. The chat, I don't know if it's like this for other shows, but I know for our show that today they are on point. So there's a ton of stuff I do want to get to. We're going to carry this one more. I'm going to get into the NFL Combine, everybody. Don't worry. We'll feed you the meat, everybody, okay? We'll feed you the meat. So everybody just calm down. We'll get some NFL stuff. I do want to get to the Caitlin Clark thing as well. But tell them about Guardian Alarm. Flannel.
Absolutely. Guardian Alarm. Hey. If the Red Wings need some defense, they should go to Guardian Alarm and let Guardian Alarm offer you customized solutions from real experts. Their security experts give you everything that you need when it comes to home security, technology backed by people. Go to Guardian Alarm. And oh, by the way, when I'm out there driving, I'm sure a lot of you have the same experience. I see the Guardian Alarm truck all over the place. I'll go to businesses and it's protected by Guardian Alarm. So the best use it, and you all should. And their phone number if you want to reach them, call 1-800-STAY-OUT. That's 1-800-STAY-OUT. Guardian Alarm, your local security experts.
We've just received word. The world's cannabis supply has vanished. The public is outraged and has taken to the streets in response to this tragedy. The individual responsible acted alone, and we can only hope they will make things right soon.
He is something else. How big is that?
All of Detroit's sports teams live on Woodward. All of Detroit's sports coverage lives on Woodward Sports. Driving the best in Detroit sports coverage.
Big Boy Seafood Fest is sailing in with a fresh catch of favorites. Dive into fish and chips, our new palm-crusted cod, perfectly fried clam shrimp platter, or a delicious fish sandwich. Try our new mango iced tea, the ultimate complement to our popcorn shrimp, our all-new fried pickles, shrimp alfredo, or shrimp stir-fry. Experience all the sea has to offer every Friday night with our all-you-can-eat seafood buffet. Every day is a fish fry, only at Big Boy.
Hey, folks, for over 60 years, Fairway Packing Company has provided Michigan's finest restaurants, casinos, and hotels with the very best meats in all the land. I'm talking prime beef, dry-aged beef, Wagyu beef, yes, all of it. Guess what? You can do the exact same thing. Go to fairwaypacking.com. A lot of you out there think you're serious about grilling. Today's going to be 70 degrees. Those grills are going to be fired up. Stop by the Grab and Go Steak Shop in Grosse Pointe Woods, guys. Get a couple of ribeyes, whatever your flavor is. Slide on in there. The marbling on them, incredible. Very best steaks I've ever made on my grill in my life from Fairway Packing Company. The purveyors of the finest meat since 1956. Go to fairwaypacking.com. All right, we're keeping it pushing here. Big D Energy, Woodward Sports Network. Neal Ruhl, Sam Flannel. We got KG. We got JB Smooth with a V on the end. All of you in the WoodwardSports.com chat thread. And we are live at Feldman Chevrolet in Novi. They are Michigan's #1 Chevrolet dealer. You can tell it's a nice day. Like a lot of moving around here, a lot of moving and shaking.
Yep.
It's a nice day. Get you that new car. Roll down those windows. Got that new car smell. What's better?
Oh, man.
What's better?
Nothing. Man, it's disappointing when it goes away after you've been in it for a little while.
Yeah.
Blazers, Equinox, Silverados, the financing rates are looking good, so slide on down here to Feldman Chevrolet in Novi. Come see my people here. They will get you set up, no doubt about it. If they did it for Sam Flannel, they can do it for anybody.
Oh, yeah.
Woodward Sports chat thread. IT Hips. The Red Wings need to make a move if they want to do anything this season. So, IT Hips, I give you the question then. What move? Like, what move? Give me the magic pill that's available out there right now that's going to take them. Because, look, I know we're high on our supply right now. I know we are. And I am too. I got a car flag out, for Christ's sake. No one's a bigger proponent of this than I am. But IT Hips, what move is out there that's going to take them from a 7 seed or an 8 seed to what? Conference finals? What singular move out there? What are you giving up? All right, I'll ask you this. What are you giving up from this organization that's going to take you from a 7 seed to a potential 3 seed?
I mean, that's the crux of it, because do I think a Jacob Chikrin would make this version of this team better? Sure. What would you have to give up for him? Who knows? Would it make them a Stanley Cup contender? Probably not. And I think that's your whole point of it all.
That's my point of it all, guys. I guess the moral of the story is this. It's working.
Yeah.
There's data. There's evidence of it. And, yes, I think, Sam, you put it very, very well in the last segment. Have things changed for the Red Wings? Yes. Capabilities have changed. Yes. Not expectations.
Yep.
But capabilities have. I think that's a very, very good way to put that. Anakin says, not one of my favorite classes, but I got to get out of here in about 10 minutes. Anakin, forget that class, all right? You're not going to learn anything in that class that's more important than what you can learn here on Big D Energy.
It's facts.
I mean, make your own decisions. Do what you got to do.
So the last thing I want to do is discourage people from continuing on their secondary education. But I will say this. I spent a long time in college, both in community college and at university. Shout out Western Illinois University. Leathernecks, by the way. Yes. But I am not using the degree that I got from there or anything that I learned from there. I actually, when I moved up here, went to Specs Howard, and that's how it got me into this business. So you might spend a lot of money at university and really not gain a whole lot from it. Just a little PSA.
What'd you get your degree in, out of curiosity?
Well, actually, I was going for education. I was going to be a teacher.
Really?
I know.
I can see Flannel as a teacher.
But
he has a teacher vibe.
During my student teaching time, and then one of my first jobs when I got here was as a substitute teacher, which is something we share in common. I just realized.
Hell's job.
Oh, it's the worst job I ever had in my entire life. So my ultimate degree, though, I left before I finished my field was just general studies.
Could you see Flannel?
Yeah.
That's not the way you do the foil method. That's not the way you do it.
He would be the toughest grader in the school. Absolutely.
The foil method.
Oh, yeah. First outside, inside, last. Yes.
Oh, my God. So, Neal, I did have a question for you.
Yeah.
So, we know last year the Red Wings didn't do the same thing at the deadline that people wanted them to do. Do you think there is an appropriate time for them to go out and make a move? Because most would say, okay, you're not going to make a move now, fine, but when do you have to eventually make that move to put this team forward? When would you make that move?
I mean, when you're a little further down the highway, I think when you're a little more established with what do we think Simon Edmondson is, right? We think he's a blue chip, right?
Yes.
That's what the prevailing thought theme is. Then why would you go give what is necessary right now to take away? Because still through all this, like they're a playoff team. I do believe that in my heart. They are a playoff team.
Yeah.
But they do not have a core of talent where you can sever off some of that core of talent to go acquire, this quote-unquote first-line defenseman that, A, doesn't exist.
Right.
Like, we're seeing this now play out with the NFL New Year, where Snead's getting tagged, which we'll talk about in the second hour. Like, Snead, all these people that we fantasized about, we did all these shows about and stuff like that, they never become available. The Buccaneers are signing Mike Evans. All this talk, these guys, while on paper, and it's good for our industry, like it does help us, but the content of it all and stuff like that, teams aren't in the business of getting rid of those guys that you covet. Like, for real, when was the last time, like, a big star was traded in the NHL? A big star I'm talking about that's going to alter a franchise. And, look, the history of the NHL, KG, suggests that it doesn't work as often as it works. The Athletic had a great story about that. The NHL trade deadline. Is it myth or is it reality? And it doesn't work as often as it does work.
Well, I mean, DeBrincat was but that's the point.
That wasn't trade deadline, though. That was off-season.
Yeah, no, certainly. But I guess my point, too, is that the Red Wings have already made some pretty big moves. I think DeBrincat was a huge move. I think Kane was a huge move. And then even for guys who weren't on the team last year, I think Sprong was a really nice signing. Comfort was a really nice signing. Ghost was a really nice signing. So they already made improvements for this season that over what they had last year. So it's just a step in the progression. Of course, at some point, the expectations will change where if they make the playoffs and don't advance a round or two or win the Stanley Cup, it's a disappointment. We're just not there quite yet, but we'll get there soon.
Hoofhearted says, hockey's all about building winning habits. Winning helps you build winning habits. This entire organization has started winning, and that's fair too. Jake says they tried to match the Panthers' physical play, and it took them out of their own game. And Jake, that is something there where it goes back to, and again, I celebrate them, so don't get me wrong, but I think that DeBrincat and Kane and Larkin would tell you power play hasn't been good enough in these last two games. Hasn't been good enough. How do I know? They haven't scored on it.
Haven't scored, and the opponents have. Yeah. And that's
it.
That's it.
Like, that's what flips it. So, Mike G. See, Mike G gets it, everybody. We don't need an enforcer. We need a mobile offensive defenseman, which are very hard to come by.
Yes.
You see what I'm saying? So, Jake said they played right into the Panthers game. Ski Mask Boy, no, Neal, you unlocked DeBrincat. I guess so. Kevin Bell, the first line is fire, a D's formal one. The Red Wings are ahead of schedule. And, I mean, I would argue that as well. But Adie's like, I'm somebody that gives the proper credence to what he walked into.
Sure.
When he walked in the door, a lot like when Brad Holmes walked in the door, he was at -1 year. Mm-hmm. And it took a year to get to year 0.
Yeah.
A year of cleansing.
I mean, if we could split the difference, I would say that they are most certainly on schedule. And that's great. If they were to advance a round or two in the playoffs, which I'm not saying they will, I'm just saying if they were, that is, to me, what would put them, I think, with what the Lions did by advancing and then, only losing by 3 in the NFC Championship game, that's what put them truly ahead of schedule. I think that's what it would take for the Red Wings. But as long as they're on schedule, we should be happy and optimistic, and they most certainly are. And if you want to argue that they're ahead of schedule, I'm not going to hate that either.
Sue, you, without Kane and DeBrincat, this team is the same garbage the last 7 years, 100%. See, Sue, you I think you're selling the free agent signing short.
Yeah,
I really think that you are doing that. And again, when you layer this thing out, that was part of it. Like when he went out and brought in the guys like Perron, that put real NHL players on the roster, which they did not have.
Nope.
Who, oh, by the way, and I'll always say this, you guys have to remember that Justin Abdelkader still makes $1 million a year until 2026. That's the level that you were dealing with before.
And I don't like the whole without Patrick Kane and without Alex DeBrincat, the team is the same garbage. Yes, I agree with you 100%. And I already mentioned how much I like how I think the Sprong, Comfer, and Ghost signings have been wildly successful. And then you look at a guy like Lucas Raymond, who's playing the best hockey of his career. But without DeBrincat and Kane, you mean two of your best players. That's what happens when you get guys like that.
Yeah.
You get better. I mean, Patrick Kane is playing like a superstar this season. He's more than a point-a-game guy. He's playing an approximation of what he was during his prime.
Well, and it goes back to Flannel. Like that was my whole point. When I would melt down about the Red Wings, last season or the year before, there was always hey, score some goals. Score goals. Hey, win a face-off. And then when you win that face-off, score a goal from it.
Well, and if that was the assignment, they've passed already. I mean,
and what was the byproduct of that?
The byproduct of that was
they're in a playoff spot.
Yeah, they're winning because of their offense.
Just a fan. Red Wings need a top defenseman, but can they find one? There's not one that exists that's available. Let's wrap our head around this, everybody. There's not one that exists that's available. You got to go get your own.
Yeah.
Is Mo Seider that?
Yes.
Could Edmondson be that?
Yes.
Then you got to shut up and wait. Yep. For real. What are we talking about here?
Well, shut up and wait and enjoy the fruits of going to the playoffs, going to a home playoff game.
And I say it that way because, I believe in my heart that when this trade deadline happens, that is going to be Yzerman's take on the blue line. The guy's coming.
Mm-hmm.
I know. I drafted him. He's coming.
Yep.
This is the way this works. So we got to wait for him to get here.
Sure. I mean, even in the last draft, you got Axel Sandin Palika. So they're at Grand Rapids is it's pretty loaded, and as I said before, it's going to be a lot easier to shut up and wait while also enjoying a home playoff game at Little Caesars Arena.
Fair.
That'll be absolutely electric.
No, absolutely. Seafood Fest is back at Big Boy. That's electric as well, so catch it while you can. Dive into those fish and chips. What's better than fish and chip season, by the way? We were talking about that during the last break. And you know what the key to it all at Big Boy? The tartar sauce slaps. So there you go. You got everything.
Good tartar sauce.
Yep, you absolutely do. You can get the clam strip platter as well, a delicious fish sandwich as well. And don't forget, a Big Boy must try the new mango iced tea, the ultimate complement to the popcorn shrimp Alfredo, and shrimp stir fry. Every day is a fish fry at Big Boy. Don't forget, every Friday night, it's back, everybody. The all-you-can-eat seafood buffet, all the tartar sauce you want, everybody, at the Big Boy Seafood Fest. Get your local Big Boy today.
Have you ever wondered where all the finest restaurants get their steaks? It's Fairway Packing Company, providing Michigan restaurants, hotels, and casinos with prime beef for over 60 years. But now you can buy these cuts of meat for yourself at the Steak Shop by Fairway Packing Company. Prime porterhouse, A5 Japanese New York strip steak, dry-aged Wagyu beef tomahawk. Delicious. Get to the Steak Shop today. Enjoy fine wine, have a private party, and get the finest cuts of meat anywhere. The Steak Shop on Mack Avenue in Grosse Pointe Woods, or order online, fairwaypacking.com.
Come to any Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men for an award-winning haircut experience from one of our talented stylists and register for a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity to win an all-expenses-paid suite for the 2024 NCAA tournament for you and 5 of your best buds. That's right, college basketball's most elite event. You and your 5 best friends just get to any Lady Jane's today for an award-winning haircut experience and automatically register to win the trip of your dreams. Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men, open 7 days a week. Walk in anytime. Lady Jane's, it's wicked awesome.
You smell that? That's Brad Holmes cooking. And the off-season smells good. Woodward Sports. Woodward Avenue, the first paved road in America. Woodward Sports, the first sports network born in Detroit and made for Detroit.
Neal Ruhl here for WoodwardSports.com/shop. That's right, Woodward merch, everybody. Baseball, football, basketball, hockey. We got it all covered. We got the beanies, the hoodies, all of it. There's a Woodward Sports golf line as well for today when you're going to go out and play golf because it's 70 degrees, and that's what you do when it's warm outside. Get you the Sun God shirt, the Spencer Raxter-inspired Jack Campbell Meat Missile shirt, and, of course, the Stoke Not Scared right there on your screen. WoodwardSports.com/shop. All right, we're keeping it pushing, everybody. Big D Energy, Neal Ruhl, Sam Flannel. Of course, JB Smoove, KG in the house as well. All of you in the WoodwardSports.com chat thread. Get your thoughts out there. And, if you're just joining and you want the hockey, all the hockey talk, subscribe to the Big D Energy podcast. iTunes, Spotify, Spreaker, wherever you get your podcast. Get in there. You can rewind, fast forward, all of it. And also, too, jump into that Woodward Sports chat thread and get your thoughts out there as well, like this. Catspot made a good point earlier. Then he's got to do this with the Sam and Neal contradicting themselves. If Holmes didn't make the playoffs in year 4, he would have been fired. Yzerman is in year 5, and he still hasn't made the playoffs. Well, Catspot, he's not. Contrary to what you think, you're contradicting yourself there because Steve Yzerman is not in year 5. He's in year 3 because he was -2 when he showed up with what he was dealing with. Franz Nielsen at $5.25 million on the cap. Abdelkader at $4.25 million. Jimmy Howard at $4 million. Darren Helm almost $4 million. Sam Gagner $3 million. Remember those days? Luke Glendening at $2 million.
Well,
so that counts as his year, even though that was his first year. That's what he walked into. No.
Well, and Brandon, I will say this: if
you don't understand, tell me you don't understand the depth of what he had to deal with without telling me you don't understand, because you just did.
I was about to say something, but I don't even want to put that energy out in the air. I don't. So I'm going to. I'll just
let it fly.
I'll just say it. If the Red Wings tailspin the rest of the season and don't make the playoffs, I'll be upset. But as of right now, they're in prime position to make it. And I get it, nothing can be assumed, but if they make the playoffs this year, the Red Wings are in great shape.
Yeah, I mean, by that rationale, Connor Bedard's a bust in Chicago because they stink.
No.
They stink. By that rationale.
I mean, they do.
They stink.
They stink. He doesn't.
So he stinks, too. He's on the team. Why isn't he taking over? He's supposed to be the prodigy.
He's the best player on that team as a rookie.
I know. But why aren't they winning?
Because in hockey,
that's that thought line, though. That's where that thought line is born from. Like, that's consistent with that, right?
Well, but we've seen the Red Wings. They're a playoff team. They should be a playoff team, and they will be a playoff team. If they tailspin, I don't know. I'll be upset. I will. But I will be overjoyed if they just make it. But that's been my stance all year long, and it's been D-Mac's stance since before the season started. So you can't just say it was just me.
Crazy clown Brad Holmes was -5 years when he took over. And NFL terms, he was -1. Mm-hmm. And he fixed it.
He did.
He had to eat it. Again, and I'll always go back to it, guys. Trey Flowers, Jamie Collins, Jelani Tavai. $20 million to not play.
Us. 8th in the league in cap space.
To not play. $20 million on the books to not play. And it might be like 19.5 if you want to get granular on it. 20 sounds better, though. Ryan's reaction, hockey takes 3 years for a draft pick to start anyway. And that is the difference right there.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
That is the difference. But Brad Holmes stepped in the door, drafted good players because of the drafting he did, and of course in the NFL circles, the draft circus was in town in Indianapolis. The combine,
the draft
circus, as I like to say. I got a text from one of my friends. He said, "Imagine being a Michigan fan and going down to Indianapolis and cheering on the players as they exercise that went to Michigan. How big of a loser are you?" And he's a Michigan alum.
Oh, come on.
No, he's a Michigan alum and said that.
Well, that's ridiculous because every great school has players that go to exercise. I mean, Michigan did set the record. They said 18 to the NFL scouting combine. It makes sense why they won a national championship and can't win next year in terms of first-round talent. It's going to be even better. You're going to be sending Colston Loveland. You're going to be sending Mason Graham, Kenneth Grant, Will Johnson, Rod Moore, Donovan Edwards, just to name a few.
Yeah.
So, yeah, Michigan getting 18, and they're going to probably get not as many next year, but maybe more high-end prospects. So, go blue.
All right, but anyway, though, real cream of wheat. I will say that Jelani Tavai was a better pick than Jordan Dizon.
Hey, Jelani Tavai has done some things with New England. Not that that matters.
Not us.
Not us. Not that it matters.
No, not that it matters. No, but I just wanted to talk about the combine like as a whole.
All
right, because there are some freaks out there. Where would you classify yourself, right? Because there's combine super freaks that live and breathe. We had somebody in here that said they watch 4 hours of it a day.
It's commitment.
Yeah. I just kind of flip through Twitter and get the highlights. Like when somebody runs the fast 40, the quarterback that no one expected that goes out there and
rising up the board.
Yeah, dazzles with its throws and stuff like that. Even though, like, there's a lot of, like with the quarterbacks at the combine, there's a lot of NCAA tournament vibes where there's a kind of a pre-built script with how this works. Where you know how I say Michigan State will play a team from the Mountain West Conference in the NCAA tournament. That seedings don't matter. That's the way they're going to That's the way they're going to work it out. Watch how it goes down. I'll back that up to say we see this with the quarterbacks, and that's why I'm kind of indifferent to the combine because there's a formula to this. The quarterback formula is somebody comes out and throws, and everybody's dazzled, but everyone seems to forget the cemented top 3 picks don't throw. They don't go, and why would you?
Yeah.
The only thing that can happen to you is bad. So why would you? If you're Caleb Williams, why would you go there and do anything?
Right.
You're the number 1 pick.
Yeah, he's the number 1 pick regardless. And it's also when it comes to quarterbacks, and I will bring up J.J. McCarthy because why wouldn't I? Because I'm Flannel Sam and he was Michigan's quarterback. There's definitely some bias confirmation on both ends because you'll see OSU and Michigan State fans posting some of the out routes that he missed, but then you see Michigan fans posting some of the myriad of throws that he actually, looked phenomenal on, the deep balls, the short ones, the intermediate. So you'll find pretty much everything that you need. And oh, by the way, just when it comes to JJ, the fact that he weighed in at 219 pounds is huge for him because there was, and he's 6'2", and I believe he's 6'2 and a quarter. There was some talk that, and I actually can't disagree with this, he looked kind of thin and slight. And in order for J.J. McCarthy to maximize his powers in the NFL, he's going to need to run because he can be, in my opinion, a dynamic runner. But he's got to be able to take the hits. So being 219, good on him. He obviously bulked up before the combine, and I hope he continues to.
Yeah, he combine trained, and good on him. He understands the assignment. If I were his agent, I'd say the same thing. Like J.J., none of this college stuff matters anymore, bro. We got to put on 20 pounds in 3 months.
Yes.
We have to do that. We got to do it now.
And he did.
100%.
And he needed to because I can't even deny that on the field on his tape, he does look thin.
Yeah.
At least as opposed to what you'd think of with an NFL quarterback. He had the same frame to me, except Bryce Young is obviously shorter, but that thin frame. But the fact that he bulked up, good on him because he's probably gonna take some hits in the NFL, and he's gonna need to be able to run because he can do it.
No, absolutely. But for me, it's more of I'm just not a combine guy.
Sure.
Yeah.
I could not care less. Do not care about someone's cone time.
Right.
Don't care.
Yeah.
And I never will care. I don't care if it's good. I don't care if it's bad. It just does not matter at all to me. So where would you put yourself? So like the NFL Combine, if it's, if you're 1, you don't care at all, and it's 10, you watch it 5 hours a day, I will put myself at about a 2.
Okay.
2.5. Where are you?
6 or 7. I'll give you an example of my thought process when it comes to the Combine. There are a couple of prospects that I think, more than most, and I wanted to see how they did at the Combine. One was Chop Robinson. I'm a big fan of him. I love what I saw of him in college. When you look at his pass rush metrics, they're very, very good, and his run defense metrics are better than you would think. And he proved what I think a lot of people knew that he would prove, that he is an absolute athletic specimen and a freak. He's going to make some money. I think he's going to get to the point where the Lions aren't capable of taking him because he will already be gone. The main concern about him was his low sack totals at Penn State. But do you know who else had low sack totals in college? Trayvon Walker. But he was also an athletic specimen, and he went number 1 overall. So I think Chop Robinson made himself some money.
And he's been good in the league.
He has. He had double digits last year. And then there was a guy, South Carolina wide receiver Xavier Legette, who, besides for the big names like the Marvin Harrison Jr.'s or the Romo Dunze's or the Malik Neighbors, Xavier Legette is the one that I think has the highest upside of all the rest of them. And he was absolutely phenomenal at the combine. He ran a 4.39. He had a 40-inch vertical. And his RAS score, that's like the athletic, I don't know exactly how they calculate it, but it's just kind of like a real athletic something score. He is the 24th ranked wide receiver period since 1987. And we kind of already knew that. Xavier Legette has great film. He was the only receiver really on South Carolina, and he still put up big numbers. He definitely has a DK Metcalf kind of physique and in terms of skill set. And when you watch him play, to me, I don't know why he's ever being mocked in like the 2nd or 3rd round. I would probably put him at the end of the 1st, but he is another one that I think made a lot of money. And I was specifically looking for those two because those were ones that I'm like, man, if they do too well in the combine, they might not be available for the Lions. Chop Robinson in the 1st round and Xavier Legette in the 2nd, and I think that might have just happened. I do.
WoodwardSports.com chat thread, Rack says, to quote the great Kenny Powers, I'm not trying to be the best at exercising.
Right.
And I agree with that.
Yeah. Shout out Eastbound and Down.
That's right. What a great show that was, man. What a great show. Catspot, the combine has become heavily overrated with social media. And Cats, you're 1,000,000% right on that. This was built for social media.
Yeah.
Like the porn of the 40 time and stuff like that. You got guys out there running 4.21s and stuff like that. The next Raiders draft pick is out there running a 4.21 because that's the way that they operate. Steven Syret, Neal, Milton of Tennessee threw a ball in the air 70 yards. Well, that's always been the book. And like, I will say this, and I kind of talked about Milton a little bit last week as well. From where he's like being projected, it's certainly worth a spin. Like if my quarterback thing was up in the air because of those tools that he has, right? So he would certainly be worth a spin. Like if you want to go to the roulette table, and put $2 on 0-0 and take Milton, I wouldn't hate you for that.
Yeah, I mean, I think Xavier, Joe Milton fell a bit because this season at Tennessee, he was fine, he was good. But I think before the year, he was talked about as maybe being that like dark horse Heisman contender in the Josh Heupel offense, although Tennessee also lost 2 wide receivers from the year before, Jalen Hyatt and Cedric Tillman. In his tape this year, there were some good moments, but I'd say overall it was kind of just good. But then obviously he's one that when you look at him, he's a physical specimen. He's got a howitzer of an arm, maybe step right into the NFL and be one of the best already. It's just the questions are about his tape and about his mechanics and about his touch and everything. So it wouldn't shock me at all if a quarterback, I don't know about a quarterback desperate team, but a team that sees a guy that maybe they can groom for a couple of years, I don't hate it. He's got the talent.
Absolutely. Swiss Insurance has the talent as well.
Swiss Insurance has the most talent. And if you have football on the brain, or you know what, right now in Detroit, you should have hockey on the brain. I know you do, and with playoff stretch about to happen, you should shop your home in auto insurance. Shop it like a pro with Swiss Insurance. They cover Woodward Sports, and they should cover you too. Just visit their website at swissins.com and see what they have to offer.
Where's the most convenient place to get that big fitness energy?
It's Planet Fitness.
Join today for just $1 down, $10 a month. With over 2,400 locations and equipment for every workout, you can get in, get energized, and get going. And with free fitness training and most clubs open 24 hours, everyone belongs in the judgment-free zone. So join today for $1 down, $10 a month, no commitment, cancel anytime.
Buying your first Feldman Chevrolet is much more than buying the car that will get you from point A to point B. It's a place for first memories, some big, some small. As she grows, you're not just buying her a Chevy, you're buying into a Feldman family. With more than 700,000 vehicles sold, from generation to generation, Feldman just keeps rolling.
You smell that? That's Brad Holmes cooking. And the off-season smells good. Woodward Sports.
Oh, yeah. There we go. Oh, cheers, buddy.
We don't like to brag that we are the toughest sports network in Detroit, but we do have a guy named Darren McCarty on our side.
Lemieux and McCarty, who've had a good knockdown drag up. There they go, right on the whistle. They were talking to one another.
Woodward Sports. Thank you to all the fans for making Woodward Sports your #1 online destination for Detroit sports. We promise not to drop the ball.
Neal Ruhl here for Jack Labrador. Go right now on your phone to jacklabrador.gg. You can learn how to play the game. Scan the QR code on the screen as well. It's the card game that's taken the nation over. 2 new symbols and a franchise-changing 3-point play. Jack Labrador, 24/7, 365, everybody. And once you go Jack, you never go back. Go to jacklabrador.gg. See what it's all about right now. Learn to play on your phone. Keeping it pushing, everybody. Big D Energy, Woodward Sports Network. Welcome to hour number 2. We are live at Feldman Chevrolet in Novi, Michigan's #1 Chevrolet dealer. Got great deals for you. Silverados. You want that big pickup truck? They got you. Blazers, Equinox. You need that SUV for the fam. That's in the house as well. They got them here on the lot. They got them ready to roll, and they'll cut you a good deal on it. So come on out here, see everybody. My name is Neal Ruhl. That guy, Sam Flannel. KG in the house. JB Smooth in the house. That's why everything's running so smooth. JB, my guy, is out here. We were talking about the NFL Combine there for a minute. I was just curious, like, where people are with it, because I think it's like it's jumped the shark. I mean, you know what I'm saying? Like, I don't see the big results. And Robert Colosia, the mayor, says the biggest thing about it is something that you don't see, and it's the team player interviews, which we heard. Like, we had our guy DeMondre Moore on last week, and that's what he talked about was, you know, being in those interviews, and those are the kinds of things that really, and we don't have access to that. Sure. So I get that. I don't understand and will never understand people on social media, and I saw it, like people on Twitter, and that's not like the best judgment of reality, as we know, but people like getting defensive about a Michigan or Ohio State player, their cone drill time.
Well, I mean, when JJ's is the best amongst all quarterbacks, how can you not get No, I'm kidding.
Give it to me, Flannel. Come on, play into it.
No, well, all right. So I don't think the Combine has jumped the shark. I think au contraire, especially with the advent of social media, it's bigger than ever. Whether it should be or shouldn't be, that's a different discussion, but it's certainly big. And one thing to me that's interesting about the Combine, I think it tells a little bit of a story. And here's what I'll say about this. When you look at, for example, 2 of the top-performing wide receivers, you got Xavier Worthy and Adonai Mitchell, and then you look at 2 defensive tackles.
No, you say like top-performing receiver, which really just means the dude that ran the fastest.
Well, sure, Xavier Worthy ran the fastest 40 time ever,
right?
And Adonai Mitchell has.
Yeah, how was he catching the ball?
He wasn't that good.
We don't know because we didn't watch. And don't tell me you sat there and watched his receiving drills.
No, but you also saw that they were top receivers at Texas. My point is that when you look at those 2, and then you look at the defensive side of the ball, you look at Byron Murphy and Tavondre Sweat having good days at the Combine for defensive linemen, you think to yourself, no wonder Texas was so good. And that doesn't even include Jatavion Sanders, their tight end, and they're probably going to have the first running back taken in the draft, Jonathan Brooks, who didn't participate in the Combine due to injury. Then you look at Michigan, as I said before, 18 players. No wonder they were so good because they were so talented. And then I think JJ solidified himself as a first-round pick. You might get Roman Wilson as a first-round pick. Chris Jenkins.
I thought he was going #1 overall.
He's not going #1 overall, but he might go top 10. Hey, I'll tell you what. You know what Ryan Ermanni should have done? And I've kind of mentioned this before. if Ryan Ermanni wanted to say that J.J. McCarthy will end up being the best quarterback from this draft, you have a couple of years to figure that out.
Right.
He was never going number 1 overall, especially when you have a guy. And
but
I know.
Wait a minute. I was told he was going to New York and was going to be the number 1 overall pick. I was told that. Was I not?
He might. He didn't.
Lied to.
Hey, that's all right. I mean, why would I care? My team got a national championship out of it, so I'm not even mad.
Right.
Hey, he might go to New York.
Why didn't you go to the Combine and cheer on J.J. McCarthy?
Well, I can't get into the Combine, but because it doesn't. It's not really like.
And when he ran the cone drill, just be like, yeah!
No, I am.
JJ, let's go!
To be fair, I know that I'm the Combine slappy of the two of us, but I do value tape more than that. It's just
you see that cone drill?
But you get my point, though. No wonder Texas was so good. You saw a bunch of their guys show out. You saw a bunch of Michigan guys show out. You saw even Washington guys. Michael Penix had a good Combine.
But what were their cone drill times?
Well, that I'm not as concerned about.
What was JJ's cone drill time?
It was like 6.6, I believe.
Amazing.
I believe. You might have to fact check me on that.
Great analysis by Sam Flannel.
You might have to fact check me on that.
It might be like a 6.6.
Hey, it's a narrative feeder. We all know that.
Well, sure.
There's things you can take away from the draft that are tangible. It's more so for the players. For us, it's a narrative feeder. That's all.
No doubt. And that's kind of what I'm poking fun about. Like, I know that people are going to get on the hater bandwagon and stuff like that, but the JJ thing just happened to present itself.
Right. Sure,
so,
right.
But the 40-time stuff too, like. Same way, man. Like, and it tells you right here. Matt says John Ross had the record for 40-time before Worthy. Enough said.
Yeah.
Yeah, and John, that's obviously a cautionary tale. No, he didn't do a damn thing.
Jack squat.
I would argue that Xavier Worthy's college film was better than John Ross's. But you know what? If you wanna use that to say that Xavier Worthy being the fastest time ever doesn't matter, I can't argue with the John Ross thing. All I know is that. And I've been hearing this go around. You know where Xavier Worthy could really thrive? Old Kansas City. Get him with Patrick Mahomes at 32. Just saying.
Not bad.
Hey. But no, I mean, I guess as I was saying before, Washington, Michael Penix had a great combine. You saw 3 of his wide receivers there. You saw Troy Fautanu, their offensive lineman, and then Braylon Trice, their edge rusher. And then even Alabama, you saw Terrion Arnold. He had a disappointing 40, but still, he's going to be drafted high. Kool-Aid McKinstry didn't participate, but he's there. Chris Braswell, Dallas Turner had maybe arguably the most impressive combine, period. And then you go to J.C. Latham, and then you go to Jermaine Burton on the offensive side of the ball. All those teams who were in the college football playoff had a bunch of guys who were there and who showed out. So that tells me, too, that not only did those guys look good in what some people call the underwear Olympics, they all must have pretty good film, too, because all those teams that those guys were on were college football playoff teams.
Paul Thomas, if you are watching combine receiving drills, no doubt in my mind, you are not married. Just a fan says, Sam Flannel says, PFF, combine, PFF, PFF.
Hey, I like PFF.
I'll add. Cone drill, 6.6.
I like PFF. Everybody knows that I like PFF.
Yeah.
14 Grit. Neal's Michigan hate is real. No, Grit, there was no hate. J.J. McCarthy happened to be the one that presented itself with this guy sitting here next to me. J.J. was a victim of circumstance. He's a very fine regional college quarterback.
A very fine top 15 pick in the NFL draft. At minimum, he might sneak his way into the top 10. He's got all the tools.
He still need to work on that out route, though. The out route was looking bad.
We've all seen the clips.
Yeah.
We've all seen the clips from the Ohio State fans and the Michigan State fans. Just be happy that J.J. McCarthy can't torment you anymore.
Yeah.
Dan Wood. One builds their career on reciting stats, the other one on their eyes. Are they talking about us, you think, or what?
Yeah. They're definitely talking about us.
Are they? Okay.
Yeah.
All right. I was just asking.
I test and stat guy.
Steve Wilds. Keon Coleman had a slow time of 4.61. You know what? I throw the ball to Keon Coleman. He's coming down with it.
Yeah.
Period. End of story.
Yeah, and I don't think he was expected to be like 4.3 or something like that. He's a bigger wide receiver, and his tape was good, but I always look back to, I thought his numbers this year were going to be better than they were. I'm not saying that he's not going to be a damn good NFL wide receiver. I'm just saying that his numbers actually went down when he went to Florida State.
Mike G has a question. Flannel, can you break down Blake Corum's combine results? Can you update us?
Well, I know his 40 time was 4.43. I do know, 4.53, which was a little bit slower than you would like. But
he's not a burner, though.
Well, that's the thing. We've all seen that at the beginning of his Michigan career, he was.
What was his cone drill?
I don't know his cone drill. All I know is that there is going to be
your favorite question.
There is going to be a team that is going to be happy that they picked up Blake Corum in a later round, at least as their number 2 running back or something like that.
Do you think they'll know his cone drill time when they draft him?
Well, yeah, they'll know his cone drill time.
Okay.
In the war room, like his cone drill was amazing. We have to get this guy.
Yeah.
Okay. I just want to know, and I feel better about humanity, and mainly I feel better about our audience, because there does seem to be a good faction of people that are like, yeah, the combine's cool, but, dot.
Well, tape, I would say tape and numbers are more important than the combine. But, when it comes to maybe 10-yard splits or a broad jump, I think those are pretty good metrics when it comes to, like, edge rushers, for example. Chop Robinson, hey, he had some damn. Oh, yeah.
Good cone time?
I don't know if he had a good cone time, but he had a great 40 time. He had a great broad jump time, and he had a great 10-yard splits. See what I'm doing right here?
Mm-hmm.
That's
Bring
the
him
guy.
home.
Someone's going to be happy to get this guy.
Hopefully us. Bring him home, man.
We shall see. I don't think he'll fall, though.
Go get him.
Oh, you talk about – KG, to your credit, you've been the biggest proponent of trade up. So,
yes.
So you've been consistent.
You won't have to move up far. If he's
I need to see the cone time first.
That's to make or break.
Me.
That's to make
just
or break.
Me. Hey, I can improve my cone time thanks to Planet Fitness, everybody. I was just on the treadmill over there for an hour, and it was out here in Novi. As a Black Card member, just $24.99 a month. I can go to any one of the Planet Fitnesses in the Metro Detroit area. There's over 50 alone, 2,400 of them plus nationwide as well. All the amenities, the hydro massage, the tanning bed. I can bring a guest whenever I want. Basically, I own Planet Fitness, and you can too. Guys, I tell you guys, they have all this corporate stuff for me to say, but the bottom line is this: I'll never be a member at another gym, ever, because Planet Fitness has everything I need. The facilities are clean, get the shower in, get back to work, and get on with your day. If you guys are looking for a gym, Planet Fitness is the only option. Guys, I'm telling you this. I know, over 3 years there. If anyone knows, I do. Go to planetfitness.com. Join up there. Pull in the parking lot. As we said, there's over 50 of them in Metro Detroit. It's Planet Fitness, where your fitness is essential.
Big Boy Seafood Fest is sailing in with a fresh catch of favorites. Dive into fish and chips, our new palm-crusted cod, perfectly fried clam shrimp platter, or a delicious fish sandwich. Try our new mango iced tea, the ultimate complement to our popcorn shrimp, our all-new fried pickles, shrimp alfredo, or shrimp stir-fry. Experience all the sea has to offer every Friday night with our all-you-can-eat seafood buffet. Every day is a fish fry, only at Big Boy.
Every year, after a cold and dreary winter, Metro Detroiters come together for 2 things: Tigers baseball and the best damned party in the world. A new season of Tigers baseball is here, and we're bringing in the new season as only Woodward Sports knows how. Broadcasting live from the biggest party. It's the Grand Slam Festival at the Detroit Opera House. Come party with 4,000 Detroit sports fans, starting with Wake Up Woodward and rolling into Big D Energy. This is a party you don't want to miss, with Detroit's best DJs, food trucks, and of course, shots. Get your tickets now at GrandSlamFest.com. 21 plus. See you April 5th at the Grand Slam Fest.
Where's the most convenient place to get that big fitness energy?
It's Planet Fitness.
Join today for just $1 down, $10 a month. With over 2,400 locations and equipment for every workout, you can get in, get energized, and get going. And with free fitness training and most clubs open 24 hours, everyone belongs in the judgment-free zone. So join today for $1 down, $10 a month, no commitment, cancel anytime.
Neal Ruhl here for Feldman Automotive. Since 1996, Feldman Automotive has been driven to provide a fast, convenient, and first-class car buying experience. It's called the Feldman Advantage. There's 18 Feldman Automotive locations, so you know there's one in your backyard. Across all brands as well. Whatever kind of car you're looking for, Feldman Automotive can help you out with that. Go to feldmanauto.com. Find the one closest to you, as we said. Woodward Sports Network, we're out here every other Monday, live from Feldman Chevrolet in Novi. They are Michigan's #1 Chevrolet dealer, so come on out here, catch us as well, and go home with your brand new Chevrolet. It's Feldman Automotive. All right, keeping it pushing, everybody. Big D Energy, Woodward Sports Network, Neal, Ruhl, and Sam Flannel, KG, JB Smoove in the house, Sticks walking around, and we have all of you in the woodwardsports.com chat thread as well. Mike G says, my rock wall time is elite at the Combine. So there is that. There is that.
Don't think they measure people's rock walls, but you know what, Mike G? If that can help get your NFL fantasies going, then power to you.
JJ needs to work on his cone drill. I don't know that to be true.
He actually doesn't need to work on his cone drill because it was the best of any quarterback. But I'm just saying.
14 grit. Neal say, I love Michigan Wolverines. Okay.
Hey, you just did it.
There you go. You happy?
I'm happy.
For the record, everybody, I have friends that work at Michigan. I want them to do well.
Don't do that. That's kind of like a racist person said, I got black friends. Don't do that.
It is not.
It is.
It is not like that at all.
We know about your hate for Michigan. It's okay.
No.
It's okay.
We've gone over this many, many times. It turns out I was right. Turns out I was right, Flannel. Yeah. You even admitted that.
Doubted him all year long, but okay.
Yeah, sure.
Doubted him all year long, but
even you said you were right, Neal.
I mean, they got in the weeds.
Absolutely.
But they also had a super talented roster and a coaching.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
And this quarterback that we're talking about, that's going to be a top 10 pick.
Yeah.
Did you recruit him legally?
Nope.
Okay.
But that's okay.
So I was right.
Is it illegal if it's a cheeseburger?
I didn't know we were still doing this, but
we're not doing this. We're not doing this. I just want you to say you were right, Neal.
No, you were.
They needed to get in the weeds. They illegally recruited a quarterback, and they won a natty, just like I said.
Sure, but it's not that simple. That's
it turns out it was that simple.
No, because, I mean, they sent 18 players to the Combine. You know, Jim Harbaugh's going to the NFL. Jesse Minter is following him. Sharon Moore is now becoming the head coach. They're going to have more first-round draft picks the year after that played on this team. So, I know.
They got in the weeds.
They did.
Coach got suspended twice, and guess what the penalty was? A national championship.
Yep.
Yeah.
Sure.
Jim Harbaugh gamed the system. Good for him.
Yep.
It's about time.
It was a good burger.
And I'll tell you what, if Jim Harbaugh was already
great movie.
If Jim Harbaugh was already planning on leaving, the fact that Sharon Moore got that in-game experience, that could end up being another positive side effect of it all.
No, absolutely. All right. That guy 62. Tone. I was right, everybody. I was right. I want to talk about this. Caitlin Clark set the scoring record in the history of college basketball.
Period.
Period. Yes, period. End of story. Passed Pete Maravich over the weekend. Pete Maravich, who scored 3,667 points in his 3 seasons at LSU. Caitlin Clark went past that. Her quote was, it's crazy, and this is according to ESPN.com, it's really crazy to think about. Honestly, if you would have told me that before my college career started, I would have laughed in your face and been like, no, you are insane. So I, Flannel, wanted to just put this declaration out there, and everyone's gonna have their own take on this. And I rely on our chat to kind of give me the will of the people. We have a good cross-section of people in there. But here's the deal, man. Caitlin Clark is one of, if not the most, influential college basketball players in the history of college basketball. Hard stop. Hard stop. If you look at the mania that she's created, if you look at the ticket, the Women's Big Ten tournament is sold out for the first time ever and have the highest get-in prices in their history. People are paying $500, $600 to sit at the top of the arena during her games. And it's not just a one-off thing. This has been consistent, and it's consistently happened. What she has done for the sport of college basketball, number one, women's college basketball, number two, she is the most influential player in the history of college basketball. Deny it.
Well,
deny it.
No, here's where I will agree with you, because you're right. She's really the first one that kind of put it up on the map like it is. Because, I mean, she's the most exciting women's college basketball player I've ever seen. I just got to read this from Cody Ingle. Here come the Pistol Pete stands. I'll tell you what, if you want to see some mind-boggling stats, look at Pistol Pete Maravich's college stats at LSU. But anyway,
okay, cool.
Yeah. No, okay, cool. He was great.
Yeah, he was.
Sure, and good for his time. But no, Caitlin Clark. Here's the thing. There have been great women's college basketball players all throughout time. I mean, you look at recently, people like Candace Parker or Maya Moore or Brianna Stewart, or even last year in the national championship game, the Angel Reese-led LSU Tigers actually beat Caitlin Clark's Iowa team. But none of them even gathered a small fraction of the interest of Caitlin Clark. And right now, I mean, you saw Travis Scott traveling to Iowa to be courtside at an Iowa game. And on the way to his seat, he daps up Jake from State Farm. So, yeah, the Caitlin Clark phenomenon, at least when it comes to women college basketball, I've never seen anything like it. And I suspect that we won't see anything like it in the near future, distant future, all of that. I'm a Caitlin Clark fan personally, and I usually don't care about women's college basketball. Sorry.
Is it safe to say she's revolutionized the women's game?
No doubt. No doubt. 100% no doubt. Because she did for the women's game, and she followed the Steph Curry formula. You know what I'm saying? Because she plays like Steph Curry.
Yeah.
She does.
That's why it works. Because, like, people can say, hey, you can detract from women's basketball and say, you know, where are the dunks and stuff. You know, you get occasional dunks and stuff like that. But she is doing what Steph Curry does. Yeah. She is doing what he does out there on the pulling up from the logo and shooting threes and scoring tons of points and stuff like that. She has revolutionized women's college basketball.
Well, and it's also the perfect time for Caitlin Clark to be a superstar because, as we all know, one of the most popular players is Steph Curry. And as you said, Caitlin Clark plays a Steph Curry kind of game. And if you want to include somebody like Dame Lillard, for example, who's also fun to watch, who also has pulled up from 30. I mean, remember that game winner he hit against the Oklahoma City Thunder over Paul George. I mean, that's an example of that. So Caitlin Clark is in the perfect time to succeed because us as NBA fans, a lot of us, I'm not saying me, but a lot of us love the three-point shot. Love it more than the dunk. You would have never
replaced the dunk.
It has replaced the dunk.
It's basketball's home run.
Sure. And that's the thing. Caitlin Clark and you said this before, she plays a man's style of game, a Steph Curry style of game. And a lot of young people would say that their favorite player is Steph Curry. And if you want to get into women's college basketball and watch an approximation of it at her respective level, you watch Caitlin Clark. And you've never seen anything like that in the history of women's college basketball. Not even close.
But what amazes me, though, is, like, how come it can't just be that? Like, I don't understand how you could argue that she's revolutionized women's college basketball.
All right.
I don't understand how you could dispute that.
Here's where I will give credence to some Caitlin Clark pushbackers, just a few. Then I see people say stuff like, oh, the Pistons should draft her and she'd get triple-doubles in the NBA, and it's like, okay, come on now. Let's not do this.
That's akin to the people that say the year Alabama won the national title that they would beat the Cleveland Browns who are 0-16. No chance of that happening.
Of course, and as long as we understand that, baseline premise, that's another story. I think that's where some of the pushback goes to, because we all know she wouldn't actually survive in a men's college basketball game or in an NBA game. We can appreciate her for what she does for women's sports, and I do. And I'm looking forward to see what happens to her in the WNBA. I actually might have advised her to stay one more year at Iowa. But you know what? That's another story for another day.
That's what I wanted to ask you. Like, do you think this will translate to the WNBA? Will she revolutionize the WNBA as well?
Yes. Like, the logo's the logo. The logo's in roughly the same spot in every court.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And that's where coaching will come down to it as well.
Right.
And what evidence do you have to say that she would not be able to do that at the next level?
I think that she'll be able to do
other than what Cheryl Swoop says.
We can get into that at some point. I think that her skill set will translate. Here's what I worry about when it comes to Caitlin Clark. I worry that her life in the WNBA might end up being, there might be a lot of resentment amongst even her teammates or opposing players because she's going to get endorsement. She's going to make more money than anybody in the WNBA because even now they make pretty meager salaries relative to being professional athletes, at least at that level. And also, she's popularizing a sport that's been around for a long time. And as I said before, there have been a lot of great players. I mean, I mentioned them, Maya Moore, Candace Parker, Brianna Stewart, if you even want to include like a Brittany Griner or somebody like that, have never done anything for WNBA's popularity or women's college basketball's popularity. But Caitlin Clark, just in the last couple of years, you're right, Neal, has made it way more popular than we ever thought we would see in our lifetimes. And she's doing it. Yeah. But I think there's going to be some resentment amongst even her peers in the WNBA. I really do.
I don't understand the how. And like we have people in the chat right now that are kind of hating on it. And Robert Colosi here, I'm not saying that he's hating on it. He says, Neal, are we all in agreement that Pistol Pete gets an asterisk for not having a three-point line? But, Robert, I would say to you, what about the asterisk then from the defenses back in that time that were packed in that would allow Pistol Pete to shoot non-contested 15-foot jumpers all the time?
He was getting 40 a night.
You see what I'm saying though? Like styles change, and when rules change, styles change. Well, how come she just can't be a great player? Why?
You know what? I figured it out. I figured it out because of something you just said and from something that Robert Colosi just said. Because Caitlin Clark did not break Pistol Pete Maravich's record. They're different sports. She's the best of all time in her sport, and Pete Maravich, like, he has the record for his sport. That's my point, is that they're two different entities. So to say that she broke Pistol Pete's record, I think is misleading, to put it nicely. Wrong, to put it actually.
But she scored more points than him.
Okay, but she did it at her different – it's a different sport.
It doesn't matter how she did it.
It does matter how she does it. Okay, it doesn't matter at all. So Pistol Pete Maravich doing it against his fellow guys is the same thing as Caitlin Clark doing it against women. It's not the same thing.
Can we all agree that the athlete of the 1960s is different than the athletes of the 2020s?
Oh, so put Caitlin Clark in 1960s SEC basketball and she's Pistol Pete Maravich. That's what you're saying. Stop it. It's a different sport.
When did I say that?
You implied it. You said that the athletes back then were not what they are now.
Oh, my God. All right.
Feldman,
it's a different sport. She did not break Pistol Pete Maravich's record, and I like Caitlin Clark. If
you put her in women's college basketball in the 1960s,
she would be the greatest by a country mile, but also you could say that for every athlete about every sport. If you put Jesse Owens in modern-day track and field, he wouldn't even make the qualifying team in the Olympics. It's different athletes.
Sam, you're scaring
Evolving.
people.
I'm sure I am. Go buy a car at Feldman. Please. I did it.
Tell them about Premier Pet Supply.
Speaking of places where I take my business that we sponsor, Premier Pet Supply, where I get all of the best toys, food, and treats for my orange cat Milo and my golden retriever Jake. Go to any of their locations. They're family-owned. There's one in Novi. There's one in Northville. There is one at how many different Metro Detroit locations? Tons. You can find one pretty much anywhere that you're at, and they will hook you up. Got the best prices, all of that. Shop at Premier Pet Supply. Give your pet the best like I give my pet the best. Premier Pet.
At work and at home, we're there with smarter security solutions. Featuring complete automation with customized alerts and more. For over 90 years, we've been the company that's been counted on to protect what matters most, all with personalized service and care. Right now, for a limited time, receive a free video device plus free installation with a new home system. Guardian Alarm. We protect Michigan.
You have an opinion? Make sure it's seen and heard. Corner, jumper, tweet us, hop on the YouTube chat, slide in the DMS at Woodward Sports on all social media.
Have you ever wondered where all the finest restaurants get their steaks? It's Fairway Packing Company, providing Michigan restaurants, hotels, and casinos with prime beef for over 60 years. But now you can buy these cuts of meat for yourself at the Steak Shop by Fairway Packing Company. Prime porterhouse, A5 Japanese New York strip steak, dry aged Wagyu beef tomahawk. Delicious. Get to the steak shop today. Enjoy fine wine, have a private party, and get the finest cuts of meat anywhere. The Steak Shop on Mack Avenue in Grosse Pointe Woods, or order online, fairwaypacking.com.
The only sports network in Detroit that starts with a W. You know, because we win. Woodward Sports, Detroit's winning sports network.
Back at it, everybody. Big D Energy, Woodward Sports Network, Neal, Ruhl. A little bit calmer. Flannel Sam right now. KG in the house. JB Smoove as well. All of you in the WoodwardSports.com chat thread. Steven Cyrus, Feldman's customers just walked out. They did not. Everybody is still here because they're getting the Feldman advantage with their car buying experience.
He startled them a little bit, though.
He startled everybody.
Sorry about that.
Yeah.
Buy a car at Feldman, people. Come on. Come on in.
Anakin, who, by the way, is still watching the show and said he had class.
Yeah.
Remember earlier?
Fuck that class.
That's what I'm saying. You know? What are you going to get more out of? Watching a vein pop out of Sam Flannel's forehead or some economics, some microeconomics class? You guys know what it is. Max Mayer, Sam's arguing about a player he could never see live. Bro, shut it. Anakin, is Sam having a panic attack right now?
No.
Bucky, Sam's got a short fuse. That's a red flag.
Well, good thing my wife, I still got married, so I guess it's not that much of a red
Somebody
flag.
liking.
Somebody does.
Andrew Schmidt, settle down, Sam. You're in public.
That's fair. That's fair.
James Miller, don't chase away the customers, Flannel. Jeez.
I still see a pretty full Feldman.
Mike O, great take, Sam. So there's a psychopath out there that agrees with you, I guess. Let me see. What else do we have on there? WoodwardSports.com chat. There are people talking about the vein in your head. I wanted to attribute, because the best one I saw on here, my apologies for not knowing who it was, said Flannel Sam's arms are going full hummingbird right now. You did do that. Like you do get this thing. Yeah,
that is what I do. I don't know what to do with my hands, but that's all right. I made it this far.
Mike G, that was, by the way.
You're not a smoker. We're going to have to give you the 10 milligram treatment like they did Mass.
A lot of talk about Sam, Flannel, and Dispo as well.
Yeah. Get them on them gummies, man.
Mike G also said Flannel's arms are ready for takeoff. Did you come up off of the chair? Like, did you get up in the air?
I did not. No, I did not. It's close.
Randy wants you to take a vacation and relax that vein in your forehead.
I don't like missing days. I feel like I'm missing out, so
okay.
We'll see. We'll see.
Jake wants to know, is Flannel a LeBron fan?
Yes.
Just went over 40,000 points.
He did. That's GOAT.
What's your take on that, Flannel?
It's an accomplishment that may never happen again in NBA history. The combination of longevity and every year excellence, it's unmatched. 40,000. And he's not done.
What was his cone time?
I don't know. Although he probably could have made the NFL if he was stuck with football. Actually, it's not probably. He would have.
Yeah. He would have been a menace, too.
Yep.
No, you know my take on the LeBron thing.
Of course.
Like, he's not out here shooting 19% from three at the end like Jordan was.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Sold his body to the game. Like, those guys are different.
Yes.
The Bradys, the LeBrons, because of the physicality and stuff like that. You want to say he never got to the top-end level that Jordan did? That depends on where you shop for me. But you cannot question the man's career. You can't. You can't say that his career is not the greatest career in the history of the NBA.
Yeah.
Can't say it.
Can't. He's going to have 40,000, 10,000, and 10,000. Or does he already? He either has it or is going to. 40,000, 10,000, and 10,000.
It's crazy.
DNC ENT, Luka can break 40,000. He won't hold up.
Nope. Psych. He would have to play for 30 years.
Dude, like, you look at his body, and it will not hold up.
Yeah.
There's no way that body holds up. Because does he sell himself to the game like LeBron did? Is every single thing that Luka Doncic puts in his body and every single thing that he does throughout the course of the day, in the name of extending the longevity of his career, having his body in the exact physical peak it can be all the time.
Nope, and I like Luka a lot, but he's not. There's no chance. He's going to have probably a 12 to 13-year NBA career.
See, like everyone's like, Kevin Bull, I still buy Jordans every year. I never bought a LeBron shoe. I don't care about that.
Yeah.
The two careers are not equals.
Nope.
No, they're not. Jordan had more of a cultural impact, and that's okay. But
that's fine.
Yeah, LeBron, the career-wise, there's no better career out
like
there.
you talk about like heights in a career. Was Jordan maybe higher? Sure. You know.
Listen, and I'm a Jordan guy, but yeah, he's had one of the best, if not the best, NBA career. You can't really argue it. Like, I understand that.
And that's fine.
I understand that.
Like the heights aren't Jordan's heights. If you want to get granular about that, okay. But the career is better. The career is better.
The overall totality.
At this age, remember everybody, when Jordan dipped out of the league, he was shooting 19% from three at the end.
Well, and even the whole
getting his Joe Namath with the Rams on.
Yeah.
I mean, even the whole peak argument. If you want to,
he was Emmitt Smith with the Cardinals.
100%. If you want to argue that 91 to 93 Jordan was better than any version of LeBron, I would. Would I grant
you can
that?
disagree, but you can't hate on it.
No, you can't. But then when it comes to LeBron, I mean, which version of him was the best? Do you want the 12 to 14 Miami Heat LeBron? Do you want the 15 to 18 Cleveland Cavaliers? Do you want the pre-championship LeBron in Cleveland? Do you want the Lakers LeBron? I mean, he's got what?
Dwayne Wade LeBron? Do you want the Kyrie LeBron? Do you want the AD LeBron?
Well, Scottie Pippen's a top 75 player. I was told he's great.
No, he is.
Which coattail did LeBron ride?
Coattails. 4 Finals MVPs.
And he dragged Anthony Davis to a championship.
Well,
so there's that out there as well.
Anthony Davis was spectacular in that playoff run. We all know that. We all know it. Come on now. We all know. We all know.
Steven Syred. I'm sure Luka sneaks a Twinkie in once in a while. And that's my point, dude.
Yes.
Like, does he again, Luka and Jokic is my guy.
Yeah.
Like, you guys know this. I discovered Nikola Jokic, all right? Much like I brought DeBrincat to Detroit.
Yeah.
Nikola Jokic is going to announce his retirement and then go to a press conference 4 days later, and he's going to be 306 pounds.
Absolutely.
Like the day he quits, he's going to put on 70 pounds. Yes. Luka will be the same way. He will not sell his body to the game. He won't.
No, and honestly, and this not scoring 40,000 points, that's not a knock on anybody. I can't think of anybody in the NBA right now who I could even fathom doing it.
Yeah.
Nobody.
It'll be a long time for that record's even sniffed.
I mean, even a guy like Kevin Durant, he's had many injuries, and he obviously isn't the specimen that LeBron is. A Steph Curry, he's too small, and he's had injuries. I mean, even Giannis Antetokounmpo, he started off a little slow, and I don't think he was as young as LeBron when he entered the league, and he just doesn't have the scoring package, I would say, that a LeBron does. There's nobody. And you mentioned Jokic, obviously the best in the league right now, but he's like portly. I'm not trying. I mean, like you said it. It's not a knock on him. It's just that.
You want to say that again, Flannel?
He's portly, but everybody knows that. That's part of the package. Yeah,
say that he's husky.
He's husky. He's not gonna be. I don't even know if he likes basketball that much.
He doesn't. This is a side gig for him.
RM Dole 19, Neal, in all caps, so he's serious. Neal, the three-point shot wasn't dominating the game when Jordan played. Well, you know what? It was closer.
Yeah.
It was a closer shot.
It was.
And you know what? Towards the end, when Jordan played, he was shooting 19% from three. You can put his name on that because that happened. What's LeBron doing right now? Still getting triple-doubles, dude.
It's crazy.
Still. Like, look, again, guys, I'm not arguing with you if you want to say the height of the career that Jordan had was higher. But you cannot argue the durability, the availability, and the performance late into his 30s of LeBron James. You can't. You simply cannot.
Sure, and I'll even say this: I'm a LeBron guy. I think he's the GOAT. If you think it's Jordan, I'm not even mad at you, but it's just those two. There's nobody that should even enter the conversation besides them. Nobody.
So
no, I don't want to hear Kareem because he rode Magic Johnson late in his career to some finals, and then he actually spent part of the mid-'70s winning MVPs on teams that didn't even make the playoffs. Look it up. When you're a big man, you need somebody to feed you the ball, and that's fine. That's the nature of the position. But I'm just saying, he was pretty old.
It was also the era of the big man too.
Sure,
back then,
sure.
Well, let me feed you the card game that's sweeping the nation, everybody, because that is Jack Labrador. Right now on your phone, go to jacklabrador.gg. You can learn how to play 2 new symbols in a franchise-changing 3-point play. Once you go Jack, you never go back. Scan that QR code on your screen and learn to play the game on your phone right now, and you'll definitely be ordering your deck of Jack Labrador cards. Play it with the family, dominate your household like Big D Energy dominates the afternoon show. When we play Jack Labrador, those are facts, everybody. Go to jacklabrador.gg right now. It's Jack Labrador.
Where's the most convenient place to get that big fitness energy?
It's Planet Fitness.
Join today for just $1 down, $10 a month. With over 2,400 locations and equipment for every workout, you can get in, get energized, and get going. And with free fitness training and most clubs open 24 hours, everyone belongs in the judgment-free zone. So join today for $1 down, $10 a month, no commitment, cancel anytime.
You smell that? That's Brad Holmes cooking. And the off-season smells good. Woodward Sports.
We've just received word. The world's cannabis supply has vanished. The public is outraged and has taken to the streets in response to this tragedy. The individual responsible acted alone, and we can only hope they will make things right soon.
We don't like to brag that we are the toughest sports network in Detroit, but we do have a guy named Darren McCarty on our side.
Lemieux and McCarty, who've had a good knockdown drag up. There they go, right on the whistle. They were talking to one another.
Woodward Sports.
Neal Ruhl here for WoodwardSports.com/shop. You guys know what it is. Get the freshest in Detroit sports wearables. That crispy white hat is pretty nice. I have that in my collection, as a matter of fact. Beanies, hoodies, all of it. Baseball, football, basketball, hockey. We have Detroit sports covered for you. Go to WoodwardSports.com/shop. Take a look around today. Keeping it pushing, Big D Energy. Neal Ruhl, Sam Flannel, what's left of him emotionally. JB Smoove is here. KG, my guy Sticks, busting around as well. We're live at Feldman Chevrolet in Novi, right in front of the blue Corvette. They got the black one over here on the other side. And that's a little bit out of the price range. That's cool. They got you covered. Get that new SUV. You wanted the Blazer, the Equinox. They have a ton of those in stock. Great financing deals. The Silverado. You want the big pickup truck, you can do that as well. They got the EVs here as well. If you're going to, I'm looking to make the switch. So as a matter of fact, if that's your flavor too, you can do that as well. And, we were just chopping it up about basketball. I just asked why Caitlin Clark can't be, a great player, the most influential player. People certainly had their thoughts. I did want to do this, Flannel.
Yeah.
I wanted to check in on the Tigers.
Yes.
For a minute, okay? Because I treat spring training baseball a lot like I treat the NFL exhibition season.
Yeah.
I do, which means I don't. I'll turn on a game. Like if there's a game on TV, I'll turn it on just because it's on. But, you don't know 50% of the guys that are playing.
Sure.
That's probably
Minor
aggressive.
leagues, yeah.
20% of the guys playing, you're never going to see in your local major league park.
Yep.
But though, with all that being said, can you bring me up to speed? Am I missing it? Tarek Skubal's going to be the starter on opening day. Check. That's about what I expected there. Javi Baez still swings and misses by about 3 feet. That's there. Chal Mago's back. There's not much I'm going to learn about this team because it all comes back to this for me. And I know that we've had this discussion, and it's sad, but I have nothing new to report. I need everybody to stay healthy for this team to win. Yep. Nothing's really changed that.
Well, and I've had this discussion before on Wake Up Woodward, and I think everybody agreed with me on this. You're right. Health is a big thing because you even look at last season's team. The fact that they won 78 games, considering all that they went through, is kind of a miracle. You had no Casey Mize, who was coming off of Tommy John. You had Manning and Skubal basically pitching half of the seasons. You had Riley Green playing 99 games and Kerry Carpenter play somewhere in like the buck teens. So
horrible start to the season.
Absolutely. So I guess the quick answer is as long as everybody is healthy, which for the record, Spencer Torkelson was last year. If everybody is healthy, if you can get maybe 130 games out of Kerry Carpenter and Riley Green, which accounts for a trip or two to the IL, by the way, and then maybe 20 starts each of Manning and Skubal, and we'll see what Casey Mize has available, assuming their bullpen is still good. I think this team has a great chance to win the Central, and I personally think that Mark Canha is a phenomenal signing. I like him more than most people, and I think Gio Urshela will do just fine in his role. So I believe firmly that the Detroit Tigers will win the AL Central. I do. And if I'm wrong, strike me. You can tell me, you can say, ha, you were wrong, but I believe they're winning the AL Central. If they don't, for whatever reason, you can dunk on me.
Absolute failure?
Yes. You can dunk on me for whatever reason. At that, whether it's because the Minnesota Twins win 90 games, whether it's because of injury, if they don't win the AL Central, you can come back to this day and say, you're an idiot, Sam, you were wrong. I'm willing to say that.
Just got this from RotoWire, as a matter of fact. Dylan Larkin is expected to be sidelined for approximately 2 weeks with a lower body injury. Look for JT Compher to get the first crack at taking over as the top line center, while Larkin, who has 26 goals and 54 points through 55 games, is on the shelf. So that's surprising. Saturday, obviously, I was busy doing television for college basketball. Did we see anything in that game?
I didn't see anything indicative of a 2-week absence. I'll just say that. But it's unfortunate. There's levels to it. Larkin and Compher are not equal, although I do like Compher. But you got to overcome. You just do. You can't let that tank even the next couple of weeks, because you've got some winnable games coming up, and you still got to hold serve. So we'll see.
I'm going to take a step short of saying that's crushing, but it hurts badly.
Well, as I said before, Compher as the first-line center, I like Compher a lot, but there are levels to this. And part of the reason why the Red Wings are so good is because Dylan Larkin is basically a point-a-game guy. And if you're losing him, it's basically going to be, if I look at my schedule correctly, it's going to be the entirety of the 4-game road trip, maybe bleeding into the Arizona-Buffalo game. We shall see. Those are important. This is an important stretch for the Red Wings to play well. Do I think that they can beat Arizona, they can beat Buffalo, they can beat Columbus, they can beat the Islanders without him?
Well,
sure.
Nothing changes in that regard, Flannel. Like, for the Red Wings, win the games you're supposed to win, and you'll be in the playoffs.
Well, that's the thing. Arizona blows. Buffalo's no good. Columbus isn't any good. The New York Islanders, it's tough to beat a team twice in such a short period of time, and the Red Wings are better. And you've got the Buffalo and Arizona twice. You've got a home and home with both of them. So there's a lot of winnable games coming up. I know their next one is at Colorado. That's going to be tough. But I think that they can still hold serve, Larkin or not. And Larkin's very, very important. But this can't be the reason why your season, I don't want to say tailspins, why this streak of 2 losses in a row turns into like 4 or 5. It can't be. Or else you're not a playoff team.
Those are fair points, man. Those are absolutely fair points. So it is worrisome to look at, though. Earlier in the day, somebody in the chat asked me, Neal, what's the deal with Vitai's contract? I did pull that up, and I wanted to get back to you. My apologies. I can't remember who it was. He, this year, will be a $3.8 million dead cap hit. So there's that.
Isn't he a candidate to maybe retire? I don't know how he comes back from all of that. I mean, who knows? But I don't think Vaitai is a part of the Detroit Lions' future.
Yeah.
Fortunately or unfortunately.
Well, yeah, but that's where it sits, because where I care about it, $3.8 million a dead cap this year.
Yep.
But it doesn't count because the cap's not real.
Well, hey, and 3.8 can get you more than half of a 1-year Emmanuel Mosley deal.
Yep.
I mean, I get it. Emmanuel Mosley didn't play, but
well, I mean, like every team's got.
Sure.
You're going to have attrition, right? Like every team's going to have dead cap money on their contract.
I mean, it gets you like half of a David Montgomery deal if you want an example of a success. So 3.8 is not chump change.
Half CJGJ.
Sure. Hey, it's funny because
more than half.
You know that I knew that, but I wasn't going to say anything.
Yeah,
but
I knew.
Shout out, Casey.
That's what I'm here for, man.
You are correct.
I'm the regulator.
You
That's
are
what
correct.
I'm here for.
Mount up.
Neal, I did want to ask you where you sit in the Matt Chapman argument that's seemed to have people, up in a tizzy right now.
Like, look, if Matt Chapman's not their flavor, then okay. Like, I understand it, especially like with the 3-year deal with the roving options, which is if he plays well. I mean, essentially what they did with that is what they gave Chapman insurance, and that's why he signed there, more or less. But through all that, I'm upset with the lack of activity just in the approach.
Yeah. I get it.
Nothing changes for me. Like, the J.D. Martinez thing, with him sitting there, you want a 1-year flyer on him, and that's going to help you replace the money that you haven't replaced yet from getting Miggy off the books. Like, just don't tell me you're serious then. If you do not replace salary in today's day and age, when there's no penalty in doing so, then you can't convince me that you're serious about it.
So there is no way you think this works without a signing of that nature?
Well,
could they do it the way they are presently constructed?
Sure they could. If you hit like a 4-person health parlay, if Riley Green plays 145 games, but what evidence do you have to suggest that he can pull that off?
That's true.
I said 130, and that accounts for a trip to the injured list. I think if he played 130 last year, and I know that's a big if because he only played 99, they would have maybe not won the AL Central, but they would have given the Twins more of a run for their money. But that doesn't even account for the other guys that you're talking about. Like I said, if Skubal and Manning can each go from 15 starts to 20, that's a difference. If Kerry Carpenter can play 130 games. But that's the thing. Even last year, and a lot of people are going to laugh at me, you won a lot of those games because of guys who stepped up and picked up the slack, like a Reese Olson. Even if you want to look at an Andy Ibanez or a Jake Rogers.
And Andy Ibanez is prominently in your plans for the third base role because I didn't sign anybody.
He had a fine year last year.
Oh, and he was, and he was fine. Like, but you see, like, I'll address one of the elephants in the room. Anybody peep Kerry Carpenter's last 2 months of the season?
It wasn't good.
Off a cliff, bro.
Yeah, it wasn't good. But you don't give any credence to we need to give our young players more opportunities at the plate? Like, you don't think signing a J.D. Martinez takes away from –
No, because he hit last year at a level that nobody else in this lineup hit at. Like, look at all the analytical numbers, the OPS plus and all of that.
Yeah.
Like, look at all the analytical. Nobody was in his class on this roster right now. You see, like, it's not a charity thing. Like, it's a production thing. Like, he produced. Is he towards the end? Yes, he's towards the end. But that's why you have him for 8 months.
Yeah.
And all you're doing is replacing the money that you spent on Cabrera last year.
I understand.
It's not the name. Like, I think, like, I'm getting that narrative from people. It's not the name. It's not a Chapman.
Yeah.
It's not a J.D. Martinez.
You just
it's
want to
philosophical,
see,
man.
the organization. I get that. Because we all know Chris Ilitch kind of has a problem with spending, and the one time he did, El Mago. But, I mean, I don't know. I feel like –
So what?
Yeah.
Yankees do that. And look, I'm not saying that the Tigers have to be the Yankees.
Yeah.
But so what? Like, okay, so the El Mago thing was a bust. So you're never going to sign anybody again because of that? No. You know what you do?
But you don't think
penalty.
You don't think there's a further plan for this money maybe? Like, maybe they're trying to see where the Tigers are at, and then maybe around deadline time something could happen maybe next year depending on how they finish?
Maybe. Now maybe they're – you talk about their finance adverse.
Yeah.
Maybe they do jump in the mix in the trade deadline where you have like an overpriced veteran that's on the last year of his deal that's maybe not performing to where he's at, and you can step in and a $25 million contract becomes an $11 million contract because more than half the year's gone.
The way you look at the Red Wings is how I look at the Tigers. Like, they're not there yet, but
there's no cap in baseball. That's the difference.
No,
I get
I understand. I think I didn't mean to interrupt. Did you want to say
No,
more?
go ahead.
So I just think there's, and I know we got to get to break, I think there's evidence that the Scott Harris plan, you saw it last year, that it's working. And I think a signing like Mark Canha, by the way, who would have led your team in on-base percentage last year, whose lifetime on-base percentage is 20 points higher than Matt Chapman's, by the way, just throwing that out there is a good signing. And even like a Gio Urshela. Again, he's not the perfect Moneyball type player, but did you guys know this in terms of batting average, on-base percentage, and OPS? Gio Urshela's Yankee slash lines were higher than Matt Chapman's A slash lines. His Gio Urshela's 2022 slash lines with the Twins were higher than Matt Chapman's with the Blue Jays. I get it. Last year was a bit of a lost year for Gio. He had that pelvis injury, but quiet as kept. Matt Chapman, as much as people want to, slob his knob, and I'm not saying he's a bad player, by the way.
Yeah.
His time in Toronto was pretty disappointing. He was really good with the A's. He had a couple of really good years, and I think 18 and 19. But I don't think he's better than Gio Urshela, but I don't think he's that much better to where people are just losing their minds. And I'm not saying you. I'm talking to the Jeff Riegers and the Jim Costas of the world.
There's been a lot of people losing their crap over it, man. And it seems to me like Gio Urshela is a better career hitter than Matt Chapman, so I just don't get what all the outrage is about.
Well, at least when it comes to some things. And for the record, and this is where I have to not – knock some of my fellow comrades in the whole Gio Urshela is fine thing. I think a lot of you are doing a poor job of arguing for him. That is making points that I think are easy to refute. What I gave you was the prime of Urshela's career versus the prime of Matt Chapman's.
Yeah, and I think you're going too far down the rabbit hole here with all the. It's not Matt Chapman. It's not J.D. Martinez. It's philosophically what they're doing. Chris says it's the same argument as the Red Wings. They're not one player away. If that addition doesn't help you win the World Series, why are you talking about taking at-bats from guys who are supposed to be the future? Because I would say that they are one player away from winning the division.
That's the division,
How do you get in the playoffs?
That don't guarantee a playoff victory, though.
But it gets you in the playoffs. You know what I'm saying? Like, you can't win the World Series unless you're in the playoffs.
I get it.
And we've seen weird-ish happen.
The Red Wings are in the playoffs and could possibly win a series with a move. But you feel the opposite in regards to the Red Wings.
No, because I think that those move guys are already in the organization.
Okay.
That's the difference.
I get you.
That's the difference. All right, hey, we went way past it. Tell them about Lady Jane's.
Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men, where I get some of my A-plus haircuts from the A-plus stylist, although it has been a while. But I like my hair long, and my wife likes my hair long, for all of you who got your minds in the gutter. But you can come to Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men, and register, get your haircut, register for a chance to get a suite for the NCAA tournament. It's coming right up. Michigan isn't going to be there, so that's that.
So maybe you can.
Hey, but go to Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men. Open 7 days a week. Walk in anytime. It's wicked awesome.
Come to any Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men for an award-winning haircut experience from one of our talented stylists and register for a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity to win an all-expenses-paid suite for the 2024 NCAA tournament for you and 5 of your best buds. That's right, college basketball's most elite event. You and your 5 best friends just get to any Lady Jane's today for an award-winning haircut experience and automatically register to win the trip of your dreams. Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men, open 7 days a week. Walk in anytime. Lady Jane's, it's wicked awesome.
Woodward Avenue, the first paved road in America. Woodward Sports, the first sports network born in Detroit and made for Detroit.
Buying your first Feldman Chevrolet is much more than buying the car that will get you from point A to point B. It's a place for first memories, some big, some small. As she grows, you're not just buying her a Chevy, you're buying into a Feldman family. With more than 700,000 vehicles sold, from generation to generation, Feldman just keeps rolling.
Y'all know Woodward Sports is the best in the city when it comes to Detroit sports coverage, man. You start the day off 8 to 10 every day with the Wake Up Woodward crew. And then after that, you got Ermanni and Edwards with Matt. Oh, no, I'm wrong. That's Big D Energy. I know I keep butchering this read. Big D Energy, 11 to 1 every day. Neal, Ruhl, and Red Wings legend Darren McCarty. And then you have Ermanni and Edwards with Maz every day, 2 to 4. And then finish your night off with the heavies, Easy and Spence on the 1s and 2s. So Woodward Sports is Detroit's #1 sports network all day long on air and social media.
All right, final segment of the show. Be a quick one here. We're live at Feldman Chevrolet in Novi, Michigan's #1 Chevrolet dealer. 70 degrees today, everybody. Go get that new car. You know you want that new car feeling. You got that spring fever going on. Blazers, Equinox, Silverados, they got it covered. You want this blue Corvette? Come and get it. Tell them I sent you on that one, as a matter of fact. But, no, just kind of wrapping it all up. Spirited discussions today. A lot of people were fired up.
Yeah.
Going back to our talk about Michigan football, Nick Lucido, that's what happens when you cheat, Neal. Look at the Houston Astros. It's just backing up my point of there's no penalty.
Comparing Michigan to the Astros is crazy.
Well, it doesn't matter. Like, do what you got to do to win, man. Hoof-hearted. It's NCAA football. If you ain't cheating, you ain't winning.
I mean,
that's exactly my point.
That's true.
And it bothers Sam Flannel that I was right. In the end, he has to give me credit because I was right.
Michigan is the cleanest of the cheaters, though. I like to think.
Is that it?
Yes. We have integrity in our cheating.
Integrity with a coach suspended twice in a season.
Listen, self-suspension. But should Woodward Sports fine you if ESPN, bought you a cheeseburger?
What do you mean?
Should they fine you?
Well, that wasn't the problem.
Yeah.
You can you can pay for recruits' meals.
Yeah.
You can do that.
But if it was in a dead
period. But
you
can't contact them when you're not allowed to contact them.
I understand, but
do you see how that could be an advantage if no one else is talking to you?
Not really.
No,
you
don't think so?
The kid was coming there anyway. I mean.
Okay.
Kid was
but
coming there anyway.
The moral of the story is I was right, KG.
Yeah.
Oh, whatever it took to get the best quarterback in school history.
Yes.
They got him.
I agree. See, we agree. That's what's incredible about this whole argument. We agree.
Sure. And they were rewarded in kind with the national championship. One of the greatest nights of my life. You were there, KG.
I was. It was great, man.
Yes.
That was after you gave up, but then didn't give up in the Alabama game.
Y'all
right?
don't do that to Sam, man.
I'm sorry, everybody.
He's a fan, man.
Yeah.
All right.
Yep. Like I said, we've done that with the Lions so many times, so I don't blame Sam, man. It was heated moment.
Yep.
Mason Leach, Ohio State illegally tampers with players, but what Michigan does isn't right. No, Mason Leach, it's all right.
Everybody tampers.
Yeah. Right.
Everybody does a dead period cheeseburger giveaway. Like, it's just,
Once
Michigan
you put away that integrity, leaders, and best stuff, once you put it away, look it.
But
what a championship.
We are, come on now, comparing us to like, the Houston Astros, like, that's wild. It's not that bad. We can go down the SEC rabbit hole if you want to.
So you're saying it's not an advantage to know what plays coming or know what pitch is coming?
Oh, my God. They still haven't nailed the Connor Stallions thing down all the way.
Got it.
Hey, and for the record, I'm a Jose Altuve fan. I'm a Carlos Correa fan. Jose Altuve is going to get 3,000 hits and be in the Hall of Fame. So there's that, just for the record.
So, yes, Mason, they do. And that's why they won championships, too.
They did.
Multiples. So go do it again, Flannel. That's how it works, or else you're Auburn.
After 2 months after it happened, you're already
no,
saying.
That's
I know, right?
That's the progression, is it not?
Well, I can't wait for
if you don't win another one, you're Auburn. This little space and time, you're Auburn.
Well,
right?
but you're saying. But here's the thing.
That's how this works, everybody.
Wait a minute. What's the time period? Are you saying that if we don't win next year, we're Auburn?
No.
Okay.
But if 8 years go by and you don't win one, then you're Auburn.
Well, I'm trying to think. Ohio State won 1 and 2, and then in 14. So. I'm just saying. It took them 12 years.
All right, everybody. That's it. We got to get out of here. The Feldman people want us out of here after that Sam Flannel eruption. So for Sam Flannel, for KG, for JB Smoove and Stick, my name's Neal Ruhl. Thanks, everybody, here at Feldman Chevrolet in Novi, Michigan's #1 Chevrolet dealer, for having us out. We will see you tomorrow. We'll be at the Suburban Collection Showplace. That is right. We'll be out there with Alta Equipment. Can't wait. Come on out, see Darren McCarty. We'll be there 11 to 1 tomorrow. Thanks for watching. Well, see you later.